wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance. I got a feeling I can't shake, but I'ma try to shake it anyway. I got a move that I can't break, but I'ma break that thing anyway. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, we're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, whoa. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance. Feet on the ceiling, feeling great. Don't tell your mama we shake and bake. Break the rules and do your thing. Bring your shoes, yeah, bring your date. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, we're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, yeah. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance.
But it's time to come alive. If you want to party, babe, you got to feel it deep inside. All I really want to do is the things you just can't hide. Put your funk around it, babe, and I'll take you for a ride. You know that feeling. You know that feeling. You know that feeling.
bitter, sweet, fiery heat, whispers the man of the hurricane. Oh, stop pushing me, gonna push so hard I'll just let go now. Lost in your mind, blown on the wings of the hurricane. I won't let go, 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 I won't let go. Ain't never giving up on you. Gonna see this storm all the way through. Gonna push right through the driving rain. Gonna ride on the wings of the hurricane. 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 Spirits climbing, love contriving, passion driving, the tempers rising. Whoa, stop pushing me, you're gonna push so hard I'll just let go now. Lost in your mind, blown on the wings of the hurricane. I won't let go, I won't let go, I won't let go. Ain't ever giving up on you. Gonna see this storm all the way through. Push right through the driving rain. Gonna ride on the wings of the hurricane. Ain't ever giving up on you. Gonna see this storm all the way through. Push right through the driving rain. Gonna ride on the wings of the hurricane. 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 Ride on the wings of the hurricane.
I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control, you know I'm in control. I'm in control, you know I'm in control. 'Cause I'm in control. I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control, you know I'm in control. I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control, you know I'm in control. Let me take you for a ride. Close your eyes, come with me. It's a heaven in disguise, just for you. Just for you. Just for you. You know I'm in control. I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control. You know I'm in control. 'Cause I'm in control. You know I'm in control. I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control. You know I'm in control. I got this, you know, 'cause I'm in control, 'cause I'm in control. You know I'm in control. Let me take you for a ride. Close your eyes, come with me.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wingman World while what?
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wingman World while wanting a well one break. Let's go.
선택부 문을 차고 있던 이건 데자부 이미 와본 걸까 내 성공을 전부 담긴 그릇이 작아 I can't lose 점수 그건 의미 없는 숫자 내 열의 top 10 거는 식당 해골로 채운 옷장 전부 대스탁 상시주의 red dot 경고는 없어 better not 난 사방에 다 뿌린지 마치 red hot
Broken and bruised, what's left to lose here on the edge of forever? If I never bleed, I'll never fight. Bleed or sacrifice, fight until the final hour. Pain is my superpower. Keep my head up high, run through rain or shine. Can't help it without the sour. Pain is my superpower. 할 말 있음 어서 말해봐. Tough guy 된 혀꼬여서 도망가. 이제는 시시해 gunfight. I brought a blade. They forgot your shade. 날 주워와 맛보게 fade. 끝이 보여 네 bandits. 끝없는 내 rampage. 이게 나니까 절대 can't change. 내게 나서 plan B. 요즘 plan A. 바꿔 pain every champion into champagne. Broken and bruised. What's left to lose here on the edge of forever? If I never bleed, I'll never fight. Bleed or sacrifice, fight until the final hour. Pain is my superpower. Keep my head up high, run through rain or shine. Can't help it without the sour. Pain is my superpower. This world never saw me coming. I kick down every door they lock. No rules, no rules. Only gods can judge me. 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 If I never bleed, I'll never fight. Bleed or sacrifice, fight until the final hour. Pain is my superpower. Keep my head up high, run through rain or shine. Can't help it without the sour. Pain is my superpower. Fight until the final hour. Pain is my superpower. I don't lose control. I just up the scope. All I know is go.
Yes, we're here in Istanbul, ready.
Don't lose control. I want to make the way I want it all. Can't let you get too close to me, back off. I feel it taking over, about to let off. Please don't talk to me, I might go off.
Hello everyone and welcome back to VCT Game Changers EMEA Stage 1. It's the playoff stage and tonight it is grand final time. I'm Hazza, joined alongside Cairo to take you through all of tonight's best of 5 action. Mate, we've got a fantastic game queued up here. We've already seen the playoff stage take its course and of course G2 are there at the end of the gauntlet again.
Of course, they always seem to be, but I mean, it's not really been the case for the majority of last year. It's only recently, since Split 3 of 2025, we've seen G2 rise back to that, well, maybe glory. We'll see what happens at the end of this game. But as for Gento, mates, this is their first time ever here.
Yeah, it definitely is, but we can only understand that context by seeing how it is that both teams arrived at this point in time and take a look at the bracket for the matches that we've had over the last couple of weeks or so. And yeah, there you can see G2 dropping to Gentlemates in the upper bracket final. having to go back into that best of 5 yesterday against GX, but looking like a completely brand new team sweeping them.
Yeah, they looked fantastic and looked to have woken up from any mistakes that they had maybe made in that initial best of 3 against mates in this playoff bracket. But overall, Gentlemates looking to go on that revenge run, right? They've already got revenge against KC and G2, but can they go all the way and win a grand final as well? That would be the big thing here today.
Yeah, we heard players on GX, Dora, I think it was specifically saying that we've got to show that EMEA isn't a 1-team region or a 0-team region, in her words, anymore. And the level of competition has definitely increased. We saw KC last year put themselves in a few finals, take a couple of titles. But G2 back at it as they always have been, and it's Gentlemates that have actually put themselves in the conversation this time. In terms of how the points distribution then works, for the grand final of Stage 1 that you can see in the column there, it is 60 points, so the difference between a first and a second place tonight is a matter of 15, which can make all of the difference when you get towards GCC.
Yeah, it certainly can, and especially with G2 and how certain years have gone and passed. You know, as they dropped into the lower bracket, had to get other people to do the job for them to qualify to GCC, so every point will matter at the end of this.
Yeah, you can see these are the points that we've currently allocated so far in Stage 1. GX walking away with 30, KC on 20, and then both Twisted Minds and Alternate Attacks on 10. I think it has been nice to see a resurgence of some of these teams, or for Alternate Attacks specifically, their initial rise, because while they had qualified previously into the stage, they'd never hit these kinds of heights before. So it's important to stress that the level is always increasing, Cairo, and that just makes it that much more competitive when we do get to the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think like that was the whole story of last year, was that the general region of EMEA and Game Changers has been rising. We've been all thinking that, like Twisted Minds, for instance, in that split 3, really challenging to see if G2 were the ones to go to GCC. But as for this year, we've got a full new organisation, sure, familiar faces, but a couple of new players in the server. But we can get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that we can. The game on the cards, of course, for tonight is just the one. It's the best of 5, and to crown a grand finals winner, a Stage 1 winner between G2 and Gentlemates. So without further ado, let's get straight into the teams. I think the first team that we're going to be talking about is G2, and you and I have already mentioned it a couple of times here, Cairo. They are a roster which has popped up in these positions many a time. Mimi chasing her 10th Game Changers EMEA win, G2's 10th as well, which would put her far and away the most decorated player that we have seen.
Yeah, it definitely would. And for the rest of these players, you know, the core of Mimi, Amy and Vanya, for the majority of what we've seen from G2 Gozen, Akita added towards the end, like kind of middle of last year, and then obviously Ava new for this year as well. Overall, G2 Gozen have been very well-rounded. It seems like kind of charging on from the end of 2025 into 2026. The group stage performance is what we expect of a roster like this. The best of the best, and obviously that's why we find them in the grand finals.
Yeah, it is. Look, it has been made their home over the last few years. But for Gentlemates, some of the players here, they're no strangers to a grand final, but not a single victory for them in those big important games at the end of each and every stage. We take a look at their roster here, and you can see it is lined with that kind of experience. I'm thinking of the core of Nami, Marty, and Toka. No strangers to one another, absolutely, for the different teams that they have played on. Both Marty and Toka there in just the previous grand final in Stage 3 last year with Twisted Minds. Nami having her own experiences with GX. But for Wens and Berry, Wens has played in many a big game before. Berry, a complete rookie to this kind of level, though.
Yeah, and I think like that's the big thing as well in terms of, well, we wondered from 2025, where does that Blackhand roster, or how does that look for the next year, right? I think Berry finding herself, considering some of the individual performances we had seen from her in 25, now into 26, totally deserves to be on an organisation like Gentlemates, and also to be in a potential top 3 challenging team, top 2 challenging team.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that in just a little bit more about Berry, but let's hear from Nami now, though. I already mentioned about those grand finals with GX. She had that and some other points to talk about in our interview. So I am now joined by Nami from Gentlemates. Nami, great to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, thanks.
Gentlemates are a new team in Game Changers, so I got to ask you right off the bat, were you expecting to make a final for your first stage as a 5?
Yeah, this is our expectation, sorry. So yeah, like we're not surprised. And this is what the goal we wanted to reach, so
yeah, so this is pretty much what you set out to do, and it's something that you're no stranger to either. Of course, you made 2 finals with GX last year, one of those as an in-game leader, one on a different role. What is it that you learned from those experiences, and how is that going to help you to win today?
To be honest, I didn't like learn a lot. Like for me, it's like 2 completely different years. Even the way like I'm gelling and everything I learn is completely new. So maybe like the only thing I can say that because like I reached 2 times like top 2, like I'm ready to win today.
You know what it means to handle that pressure, right? You've been in this situation before. So let's hope today maybe is the day. If we're going back on the history between you and G2 to start off with, I think it's fair to say that you won the Veto against them in the best of 3 last time, catching them off guard with the switch up for the Haven comp. How does your preparation then change knowing that you're coming in today with a double map ban advantage?
That doesn't change a lot. I will say, of course, we were like kind of thinking about like which map we will ban. Is it gonna be like split because we lost 2 times on it, or like it's gonna be another map? But I think like we're really confident still about our split, and yeah, so just ready.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, look, all of that preparation as well stems from the coaching staff that you have with on the team. What kind of impact have they had on developing you as a group? Of course, you're working with an experienced former player like Existence and the teams that he's played in, even IDEX as well, promoted to Challengers France. That must be useful to you as an in-game leader.
Of course it is. They like helping us on like so many topics. I would say even like all the topics like that we need for a team, and we're like really grateful, and I'm really happy like to have this chance to work with Existence and IDEX as a coach. I can really feel the difference, you know. Now that have them as a coach, like learning like every day, and I'm just so grateful to like be here with them, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I mean, any words for the fans before we wrap this up? I know that both Gotiga and Mel have been watching.
Yeah, of course, like keep being behind us, guys. Like we love you all, and I hope you're gonna watch us tonight. Bye bye.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci. Bye.
Great to hear from Nami there, as always, and definitely a feeling of confidence in the Gentlemates camp coming into a game which, on paper, the odds do feel stacked against them in some ways, but I have to say, with what we saw in the upper final, just hearing some of her thoughts there about how she's developed as a player and the environment that she now finds herself in, it's looking on the up.
Yeah, she's always been a quality player and has slowly kind of moved into a bit of momentum, and you felt as if when Nami had left that GX team, the momentum on the GX side fell away as well, right? A roster that should have been able to compete towards like getting that 3rd split, you know. But hey, listen, things happen. Nami's now moved on to bigger and better things, so yeah, Gentlemate's looking good.
Yeah, no, absolutely they do. So with that in mind, we move onwards, Cairo, into the next stage of this pre-show, right? I think it's important that we have to address, of course, what the G2 players are feeling ahead of this one, and their coaches. We have a short clip from them.
Okay. How confident are you with the map Veto heading into the BO5? It sounded like you weren't expecting the change up with Haven from M8 in the previous series.
We actually did expect the Haven. We thought that they would pick it, and we were prepared. We just didn't execute, and that's okay. It happens sometimes, and the advantage to that is we've learned a lot, and we'll be much better prepared on that map for today. In terms of like the whole BO5, I'm pretty confident. Obviously, we aren't in control of the veto. They get the double ban. However, we have a deep map pool, and all of the maps that they like are also maps that we like too. So I'm expecting a fun game, and I'm very confident that we can close out with a clean victory.
Beautiful.
So let's get straight into the map veto then, and with that in mind, we are going to be getting Haven as the opening map in this series. Drew saying there that they were prepared for this one cropping up in the best of 3, but that the execution was missing. No room for error this time, Cairo.
Yeah, and the big loss for Gentlemates in this veto is they have not played bind whatsoever so far in stage 1. So having to have an auto ban completely takes away from what you could have had in this this best of 5. So with that as well, the other map that Gentlemates have banned is Corrode, a map which G2 won out in the first time that these two teams played in the group stage. So the rest of the map, Veto here has I still think favours favours G2 in a way.
Yeah, to an extent, I'm kind of inclined to disagree with you in a way, because I think at least these first 2 maps are very series deciding in my opinion, because you look at Split, G2 have won it both times, but the scoreline's gotten closer each time. Haven, we talked about the preparation, and well, looking at it here, G2 gonna run it back with what we'd seen from them before. The question is, right, like, are you now ready to actually counter Gentlemates at their own game? I mean, no, it is a bit of a switch up.
Yeah, it is. They've moved away from the Whaley, you know, kind of just going for a solo Neon, which I think is interesting. And I really like this, you know, bringing through the Viper, bringing through this different, I guess, way of playing it. And this is something that we've spoken about in terms of theory of Haven, in terms of like the fact that it's a rock, paper, scissors sometimes. That they go double controller, double initiator, or double duelist, and G2 have picked their poison.
Yeah, and it does feel like they're very much catering to what Gentlemates did to them the first time around in changing the comp, coming into a map which they had plenty of reps on, but maybe hadn't performed too well on the whole. Looking at this veto now in retrospect, though, you've got to say the longer it goes, the more it starts to favour Mates when you look at their record. But as I mentioned, the front-loaded end of it could pose potential issues if G2 are to start rolling with the punches nice and quickly. A huge fixture for both, of course. Gentlemates fighting for the chance to make history tonight in their first ever stage of Game Changers EMEA. They want to cap it off with a title. It would be a feat which no new organisation has achieved for the last 5 years. And in front of them, the queens of EMEA, G2.
No better challenge to win your first title and win an accolade such as being the first roster or the first organisation to do that. Very proactive defense from G2 down the C long, but Gentlemates so quick towards the A side of the map.
Yeah, a bit of proactivity here. And oh, there you go. Kill from Mimi off screen. G2 retaking the A site. It is a 4 versus 5. The defenders favoured from this position.
Oh, they are. How they retake, though, they need to be very cohesive. And you look at Gentlemates, there's issues. For instance, Nami from the corner, only able to get one, but a quick trade from Mimi as G2 begin to assault the site. Very successful in doing so. And it's the captain who leads G2 to the first round win.
Yeah, Mimi chasing that 10th title, like we said. Hoping to break another record along the way right now, tied with Petra on 9 wins each. But she has been the sole standing player that's been there with every iteration of G2. And it's rounds like that that remind you why, on a different agent, always good for a different role. And from being the duelist the last time they played to now the Viper, this is going to be a real key part of how this defender side functions.
Yeah, I think the fact that with the Viper timings, the walls, I mean, Mimi being the IGL, right, she'll be the one picking exactly where the wall is going to be placed and what it allows the defense to do. Seems like they're going to go from C to mid. Gentlemates with a quick pop on the A side of the map.
I was just trying to go for a quick pump fake over there with the 2 duelists. TP set up by Marty as Nami is the first player to fall. Rariex does breach the choke point, but drops back. And yeah, Mates just trying to min-max this as much as possible. I think something that we have to talk about here, of course, is the fact that G2 have only lost one grand final that they've ever appeared in EMEA. That was in the 3rd series of 2022 to Guild X, and, you know, by that point, qualification had already been assured, so it's kind of in these early games of the year where actually they are a bit more scary because there's that much more to play for, and Mimi is definitely up to the task.
Yeah, so the whole of G2 a flawless round, and I just want to come back to that. 2022 has it. In the history books, may have lost one grand final, but won the biggest of them all, right? GCC that year. And kind of shows you how long ago that G2 have been so dominant. For how long they've been so dominant. Very nice though, it was the weaponry advantage that probably won this for G2. So this is where we expect Gentlemates to come straight back in and challenge the Queens of EMEA.
Yeah, they can call themselves Queens for now, but we'll have to see how this one develops. All starts with the rifle round for Gentlemates, of course, and back to the A default they like to go. Spike just sitting in the hands of Toka, as they're playing disciplined here, expecting some proactivity, and all I can really see right now is Amy starting to have a walk down C-Long.
Yeah, and for Gentlemates, they're so focused on this side of the map that if it keeps going like this, very quickly, they're going to stagnate and allow G2 map control, but all 5 players here, a quick pop would take these 2 off guard.
Deploying drone. Drone comes out from Toka. That's the first sign of any life here on the Gentlemates side. Good reveal. Vanya still yet to be uncovered in the corner though, and with everyone walking past, Vanya gets a double and gets out. Still alive here, still breathing in the sight until Venz is able to cut her from the situation. Still a 3-on-2 here, mates solo player advantage.
And both players, the defenders, completely disconnected. Obviously looking to plant the spike and the molly for the perfect post plant, but Amy caught out, makes this a 3 versus 1.
Mimi yet to fall though, 7-0 as it stands. And on her road to a 10th, she's got to find 3 kills. Gentlemates giving her absolutely nothing. There is no utility to work with other than this orb, and even then, it just gives Gentlemates the cue and Marty to take her timing, getting them on the board on this attack side.
Keep going.
You'll take it. Very well thought out from Gentlemates. You can see that maybe identified a weakness on A. I was worried for a minute that Vanya may have got more than possibly she should have got, right? But at the end, Gentlemates post-plant, well played in the end. So another big question for Gentlemates on this attack is, what are they going to do with the C side of the map if Amy continues to walk down there and it becomes more readable for G2 on this A side?
Just have to keep tracking how that one develops. For now, it's Akita trying to make an aggressive play. Paranoia coming in late, but the reveal landing and very down to 6 HP. Marty finding the trade on Vanya in the end, and once more, mates win this A fight.
Yeah, they do. It felt as if it was a little disconnected from G2. Don't know if we missed the utility that was meant to set up Akita, but at the same time, it's the same position, except one player more on the G2 side in terms of how the players are disconnected at the moment.
Maybe just trying to regather some of this space, take back control, jostle it from the hands of mates, who right now looked unstoppable until Eva arrived, puts it into a 2 versus 1, and one which Mimi will give a damn good go, but Marty is just too aware of the situation. Again, the flank is hit, and again, it is defended.
And that it is. We go all even once again between these two. And G2, it seems like the game plan is to try and get on the flank, is trying to pose some issues, but the timing seemed to be a little bit off for Mihaza, and that's the worrying thing. Obviously, plenty more rounds to be played. We're in the early game, but just noticing little signs of what could potentially be bigger downfalls later in this map.
Plenty of Turkish players in the server. Another title taken by one of them regardless of who comes out on top tonight, and the best Turkish team in EMEA right now, BBL, when they're able to take the A site, you know, you're really going to struggle to take that back. I think Gentlemate's approach here is of a similar volition. You understand why G2 with this double controller want to try and hold the sites and anchor them as much as possible. But here, forced into another retake, Marty really towing the line right now.
Yeah, I mean, Gentlemates with a very extensive post plan. I mean, I like the fact that they're trying to take an extra bit of link, but these pistols are going to be so much more dangerous at close quarters.
Marty could be caught off here, uncareful, and then there you have it. Does end up finding the kill that she was looking for. 4 versus 2 situation. Gentlemates in complete control right now.
Yeah. And
G2 would love an exit or two here, but it's not going to hurt the money too much.
Not at all. I mean, with 4 alive, 4 Gentlemates at this point in time, why? I mean, fair enough, you can go and search for the last player, but I don't think they're going to find it. So we take the attack will take the advantage, and I'm wondering for GT and the coaching staff.
Drew Spark. He's Scottish,
sorry,
man. How you forgot the only Scottish coach?
Bro, listen. I had a senior moment. I was going to ask, when do we go for, I'm an old man, when do we get the tactical break? And it's coming in right now, because obviously we've seen the last 3 attempts at a retake so far. I mean, 2 of them kind of a bonus round and a rifle round, but they did pose a lot of issues. For instance, the second of those, the rifle round, we saw G2 being disconnected on their A play, and then we look towards the first one, that first kind of round, the bonus round. There was a little bit of disconnection in terms of the retake.
There absolutely was. I mean, it's exactly what Drew was talking about in that interview. The execution was missing the last time these two played, and for Gentlemates, they'll be happy with how this has started because it was on the defender side where they looked at their best, so getting a good run out on the attack nice and early definitely bodes well for their chances. You can see the record between the two teams. It's gone the distance both times in a best-of-3 setting, but now in a best-of-5 you start to wonder, do we move into the 4th, the 5th? It feels that way, and you know, we spoke about the Veto a little bit heading into this one, Cairo. I think this is one of those maps that it has a bit of an unknown factor because G2 had just played it once before tonight.
That is very true, and obviously with that kind of the Veto advantage being towards Gentlemates, that's the big thing that Gentlemates had at their disposal, getting it in nice and early, and just like G2 getting his Viper's Pit in nice and early.
Full buy, of course, and G2's opportunity to respond. There's an op-out from Akita as well. That's posted towards C Long. Double layering of the Killjoy setup here is huge, and actually, Amy not able to break the fake out in time, so Gentlemates will know that at the very least an alarm bot was placed here.
Yeah, but is the KG towards that B link, or is it helping to anchor down the A site? They'll find out very quickly, so it looks like the utility is being placed for an execute.
Yoru ult committed to just defumigate this pit. Mimi spotted in the middle of it, but Wen's not bridging that gap. In fact, it's through short that the rest of the team executes, and Marty absolutely decimates it. It's only Amy there. She was left out on an island, and with that, G2 have a platform for this retake with the pit, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Mimi could potentially use this as a platform to launch the retake would be absolutely massive, but it all depends on how the team works together.
Yeah, and what kind of timing Wens wants to actually take back through long, because Mimi should be expecting that kind of reaction soon. And just as soon as the re-engage comes through from G2, there's a Hunter's Fury popped, and Toka's managed to take one at the very least. Mimi goes down, and it's only Vanya remaining, trying to save the op if she can. But Gentlemates are here and circling in for the kill. Shouldn't be able to walk away from this one, and she won't. Berry X shedding the title of rookie and coming into her first grand final. Lights out so far.
I mean, I think the big thing for me is just how good the setup is to allow Marty to find that pivotal kill to open up the site. It feels as if Gentlemates have the weakness completely sussed out on the A side of the map and continue to go at it. And right now, G2, they've decided rather than reinforce the site, what we'll do is we'll go elsewhere and try and be quicker on a flank. Gentlemates maybe looking to perhaps take this engagement head on.
Yeah, it's just pivoted away from what we'd seen, now starting to default towards A with the Yoru again. It's just standard macro play with this composition. Marty moving over to this agent now. Really facilitating both her strengths as a supportive player and giving her the license to get a little bit more aggressive. We're seeing Amy's now embedded in bottom mid, just looking out for audibles. But in the meantime, Marty's cleared all of A site, all except for short, I should say.
Yeah, but they'll be considering this, surely. You'd hope Berry X is gonna, but no, that's not the case. So it's up to Marty to try and find where the Sova's gone. But like Ships of the Night completely missed the opportunity.
Yeah, awkward timing on the dart as well means that Marty gets revealed, forced to just void that one. And as Amy's backtracking in middle, she will be spotted, but no kill taken. And actually, G2 in a decent position to get themselves on C.
Yeah, this is so well read, and with the Viper's wall to support, you can see right now Mimi had a chance, distracted by the dart, but the rest of the team is here. Oh, Amy runs out of bullets. You thought for a minute it could have been, but at least Ava has rescued a rifle from the A site.
Ult and a shock from which to play with, but already spots the first of those players.
Yeah, but stop from getting out through the paranoia. Now Ava has to try and at least get the first fight clean. It's not going to be. So Gentlemates up to 5.
Mates looking formidable so far. Bit of a gap left open here, an opportunity left hanging for G2, but these are the kinds of situations that you have to take if you get given them. I liked the idea of the backside flood. It's something which this Viper wall really gives G2 the ability to do, to hold on to that extra space. Amy had hit every single shot, but she just didn't have enough bullets left to find the next one. So ults available into the next cycle. Another purchase for them here. Berry X wasting no time to send it to A.
Yeah, do you know what? I like this, but look at G2. Look how respectful they're being. They've all evacuated that A site, but nobody's there to back up this space take. So G2 just clear it with the drone and know this is a fake.
Feels almost too good to be true, right? Mimi pressed up into the corner and from the cutout, able to find Wens, looking to line up the next couple targets. Marty the only casualty, and she's already bridged the gap towards the C site. Spike still hesitant to commit here as Berry X is working the opposite extremity.
Yeah, and look at
it's
it.
just a full pivot.
Yeah, straight into it, trying to play in Berry X, into the engagement. Ava wins out, but the spike is down. And look at the retake tools that we can currently see on G2. A lockdown, a hunter's fury, but the problem is Marty is on the flank. Does anyone consider this? This could be the round-winning opportunities. Nami goes from heaven and Marty from spawn. Gentlemates could have just wasted G2's ultimates with those kills. Amy onto the spike with time to try and defuse. Obviously, Nami is locked down. She can't get anything to stop it. Finally swings out. Nami wins against Amy and gets the round for Gentlemates.
Great round from Gentlemates, and great synergy as well. You can feel it through the comms that quite clearly this is an incredibly well-oiled machine. It's this initial pacey play towards A, which then ends up being a double fake almost towards C. The second layer of Marty coming in, even a paranoia there from Nami to take that next fight, but a little bit of discipline shown in the key moments, and all of the right signs heading into this grand final. I say that. Almost all.
Yeah, slight error. And I like this, the fact that we're seeing the attack fought in sprints. But Mimi, the one to try and stop it, a blinding shot by Marty to keep numbers similar. You can see G2 taking off angles, and Ava perhaps taking the round for G2 with those 2 kills.
Big kill against her former teammate there, and the double up comes through, putting G2 in the best spot that they've had in a while to pick up another round. Amy searching and rewarded. Toka falls, and it leaves only Marty here in a 1 versus 4, to which she can find the first, but that spike recovery mission is a difficult one.
Problem is that Marty is the top frag, so let's not completely counter out here. Does have a TP, but it's trying to fight back for that spike, where 3 G2 players currently hold it.
Ava has the contact. And already 2 kills in this round.
30 seconds left.
Marty will be hoping that she can quickly scoop it up and get towards the C site. Flash available to just break the line, and there you have it. Marty does pick the spike up, and G2 none the wiser about where this one is headed. She does have the jump here, but I'm not sure about the full reposition towards spawn. We'll have to see if she takes it or not.
It's a good Hunter's Fury, at least by some delay, but that last bolt is missed, so Marty gets a plant here.
Not gonna happen. Not that far out in the open. Amy, a safe pair of hands in this round. And G2 starting to close up the gap just a little bit. They'll need more than 3 rounds if this half is to look competitive.
Yeah, Haven, as we've known time and time again, can be a war of attrition in terms of the rounds that you're able to get on this defense. And I mean, finding 3 gives you a lifeline, but we're looking for 1 more. If there's 2 more, then I think it's a great recovery from G2 Gozen. Obviously, the pistol round and anti-eco really helped in this margin. But that would set them up for success in that next half. That's whether we see that. Early doors, Gentlemates get the first blood though.
Something from Marty, which could prove priceless here. Mimi stuck in the corner, no way out without a fight, but Gentlemates ease up a little bit. Press down on the brake pedal and actually start to set their sights towards the C site again. Marty with the mask back on and just clearing out the path for the rest. Amy looking for a straggler at the back of the pack, and it's Toka that falls with the spike in hand.
Yeah, it's the most important one. It's bot time for the rotation for G2 Gozen.
Interesting wall here from Mimi as well, actually, to just play the rest of the team back in. Still had it available. Spams away, but this gives a window for Berry in the smoke early. Quick smash and grab. And while Amy's chasing shadows, Berry is leading the line and holding the torch for the rest of mates to follow. A 7th secured, and it was just so clinical.
I mean, when you think that G2 can start to build upon something straight away, and the rug is pulled from underneath them. Very well played from Gentlemates, and the big thing that I've noticed is these quick starts in the rounds that just completely take off G2's main force off guard, right? Like, for instance, it's the off angles that won the last round for G2, but Gentlemates, when it's head-on fights, they're the ones who come out on top 9 times out of 10.
It's the confidence that we're seeing from Gentlemates as well, because how many times have these players, albeit not as a 5, found themselves in such similar situations? I mean, already, both Toka and Marty loving life in pink, swapping the mines for the mates jersey, and in another grand final here, Nami as well, as she was with GX last year, but no wins between them. This time, they've got nothing to lose, and Berry is another one of those players. First kill picked up, survives a little longer than maybe she should have, but the trades are there, and mates should be taking this to another post plant.
Last player standing.
Vanya, you thought for a minute would be able to take the Euro off guard, Marty, but not the case, so will they look at Ava just on the Guardian all alone? And again, it's that question, right? How much damage can really be done as we look towards what will be the last round of the half at an expected 8-3 unless something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, Eva has very often been complicit in that. I think it's fair to say, a real talent. 7 Game Changers EMEA finals for her, this the 7th. And while there is no luck on this attempt, the first final for G2 is only just starting. Last round of the first half here on our opening map though, Cairo, and it does really feel like G2 need this one under their belts if they're to have half a chance.
I would 100% agree, especially with the capabilities of having a Euro on the defense, what that can do for operating, and the question mark spaces you can create with that. There's ultimates in play. There's everything you need for G2 aces up the sleeve to make this one work. So we head back into the last round of the half.
And a complete change-up from Gentlemates as well. Fast C play coming in. Vanya, the one in this situation, caught. And with a brilliant combination and a huge dart lighting everything up. It's all too easy for Berry. Mimi is going to walk away with one at the very least. Nami on the rotation loses control of the
down
spike,
A.
and all of a sudden, it just falls apart.
It does, and you can see the two remaining G2 goes and players trying to get into position. Ava catches Wens off guard, so with the spike in G2's control and Toka on the other side of the map, this is going to be a hard battle to try and come back into.
Another 8-4 half queued up between these two teams on Haven, except this time it's Gentlemates on the attack side. Very telling that we find Haven at the front end of this veto, considering all of the other options left for later. To just try and sweeten that deal, though, Toka has to try and pull this one off. She has the element of the surprise at the very least, but only 30 seconds to her
30
name.
seconds left.
I mean, a double stack to clear first, but to look the correct way, the turret isn't going to tell you. But Toka walks out into the open, and Ava with a triple kill. The real round winner here as G2 goes in, at least have a pretty decent lifeline for that second half.
Because we are together.
One enemy
Gentlemates leading from the halftime as they did last time these two teams faced on Haven, but with a difference in composition for G2, they'll start to hope that they can reap the fruits of their labor in an official environment because, Cairo, it's got to be said, they're now moving on to the attack side. This is where you would probably favor the comp a little bit more from what we've seen so far. The ideas were definitely there, but it's a little bit more of what we already heard from the coaches. The execution just missing in some of those rounds.
Yeah, it really was. And again, like that's the added benefit of kind of being together for a longer time you'd expect for G2 Gozen. Just not the case, to be honest, right? So I'm wondering, right, how does this double controller work on the attack? Because from what Gentlemates were wanting to do, it was very high paced, it was very high octane stuff. I mean, maybe a little bit too overcomplicated sometimes, let's be honest, with some of the Omen rounds. But a lot of the time, it was working out, and that's what you get in an 8-4 half. Yeah, in terms of the defense, G2 now have the onus of the rounds. They can take the fight to their opponents, or they can play the game that they want to play, which is slow and methodical. And I think that's where Gentlemates need to be careful, because they'll be completely cut apart if given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at Gentlemates comp and what they'll be wanting to try and do on the defender side, a lot of that will stem from taking away a lobby control from G2, not allowing them to scale behind that default Viper wall and get the information that they need. They have the Yoru as well, like you were mentioning earlier, so in terms of having a lot more presence on the map and seeing the op come out a few times for Marty, that's where we place the bar. But yeah, I agree with the points that you made, and I think when we're looking at Haven as well, we already said in the series, Gentlemates put this as their first pick. They didn't have to, right? I think in some ways they've maybe read what G2 were planning to come in with here, and it's definitely looking pretty good for them so far.
Yeah, I would say so. I think everything that's been shown is pretty decent. I'm liking it. I'm loving the ideas, and it's something like maybe we're speaking about, right? And it, like in terms of like what they have and the capabilities that they can do. But listen, with that being said, we can now start to look back towards this second half, Hazza, and what we actually have coming up.
Yeah, that we can. I believe we're just getting ready checks from the players, so it shouldn't be too long before we dive back into the action. And the timing is impeccable. Thank you, production. We are, in fact, ready to go in the next 30 seconds or so. This is a pivotal pistol for G2 if they want to stay in this one. I think you could see there are a couple gaps in the comms, a few mistakes made, but the biggest thing for me is just on the other side of the server, Gentlemates are making their plays with conviction. You spoke about some of those Omen TPs. They're committing to them. There's no hesitation. I think that's exactly what you want to see in a grand final, in a best of 5. It would be the perfect start if they could win this one back to back. But we'll just have to see. G2 gearing up to send it towards mid early. And Akita straight into garage off the back of that dart.
Yeah, a player who's not had the best starts when it comes to this map. Only 3 kills in that first half, but as we know, Akita will always look to pop up. And that smoke just stopping a little bit of delay as G2 begin to take the B site. Spike still not down, but plenty of players starting to circle this B site for Gentlemates.
Oh, the range just isn't there for Berry on the shorty, unfortunately. So G2 now have an arm from which to play from. Wen's flanking in, as is Marty. Well, the question is Amy expecting this? Vanya's definitely looking out for a walk from grass, but yeah, finally the turret does get notifications. So Gentlemates split up here in their retake.
Continuing to fights on all fronts. That's a beautiful shot from Nami, but unfortunately with Marty gone, it is all up to Nami, a player who has played up against G2 many a times, and in this pistol round it feels impossible to try and get the better of the guys and girls. You're expecting for this to be a great start, the best start that G2 could have hoped for in this pistol round, and that's exactly the case as G2 are up to 5.
Yeah, and it's double pistols for G2 on Haven so far. They started off strong on the defender's side, but just weren't able to channel any momentum from the anti-eco. This time on the attack, we'll just have to see how clean they can keep it. I think that's a really important thing to focus on. Of course, they have shown a little bit of double duelist. We know Mimi has the agent pool to do it, but for the most part, like on their split as well, for example, it is just Akita soloing in. You mentioned that head-to-head between her and Berry. I think it's one that we're both going to be looking out for, and with a Marshall in play, a little bit of spice in the mix. Mimi's got to be careful here.
Well, there's
not too much you can do about that.
No, they're certainly not. 4 seen, and unfortunately for Gentlemates, there is not an upgrade to be picked up. So G2 straight on towards this site. A 4 versus 5 post plan, but one with weapons and better utility.
And that's what we were speaking about right at the start of the round. G2 want to keep this as clean as possible, so they've got a decent runway for the bonus. Gentlemates slow in their approach, and by that you can kind of tell they're trying to do as much damage as possible.
That they are, but with them taking their time and taking 1 versus 1s, you can only help but favour G2 when it comes to pistol versus rifles, and that's exactly the case. But that Marshall is still a problem, and there is still time to get a defuse.
Yeah, this is the only Vandal here as well, so Akita has to be careful. You don't want to lose that.
Well, it's gone now, and G2 now are on for a rescue mission as they try to fight in towards CT, and unfortunately denied the opportunity. So only a Bulldog and a Guardian saved up, and Nami looking to do even more damage here. And she's on the back lines challenging Vanya, gets the kill, and it's only Amy who survives.
And with Omnia Bulldog as well, you could see there was a double swing backside there from G2 to try and get the Vandal. Couldn't do it, it was just a step too far. And Gentlemates will be very happy with the conclusion of this one, especially with Nami finding one on the flank as well. Questions being asked immediately of this attack side. And their chances of winning this bonus, few and far between, especially compared to the last one. Still 3 rifles though.
I think that's the scary prospect. It's all about G2 managing to work the map and seeing what they can find. Taking Garage very early and Berry on an off angle. Maybe thinking about exploring main.
Yeah, just second guessing it for a potential pinch coming through. Amy's still playing disciplined though, and once more G2's attack macro relying heavily on taking this garage space, the same way that Gentlemates were focused on a lobby. Vanya has been spotted, as you say, and yeah, Nami is going to punish her. Great little bit of coordination there to root out the lurk, and with it, G2 now starting to scale towards this A site.
That they are trying to spam through smoke. Wins already. Doing so well. G2 are falling to the wayside. It looked as if Gentlemates barely broke a sweat. Very well played, and up to 9.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the fundamentals from Gentlemates here in general, but also some of the micro that we're seeing. Just clear communication, the way that they're able to cut out Vanya from that lurk and then immediately pivot towards supporting the A-hold. Also, now having the Cypher means that you can put up some cages, you've got smokes as well, and the rotation time is so short with both Marty and Berry on the Yoru and the Neon.
Here.
Very slow from G2. This is what we were expecting from the double controller.
Nice.
I just swing out from Marty, and no punishment at all. She has been brilliant since map start, and so is Berry X. Gentlemates are completely dismantling G2 so far on Haven, and it's left all up to Akita, who's been caught out and found. Double digits to the French org.
Yeah, Gentlemates are looking free-flowing right now. You can tell that each of these players has so many liberties in terms of their ability to just take fights. And Berry and Marty both reaping the rewards of those situations. Marty, just mechanical ability, and Berry spotting out Mimi there on the other side of the wall, as we highlighted in the build-up, something that G2 will be looking to try and do. They brought more numbers to the fight this time, but so have Gentlemates.
Another quick A-lobby fight, and one which denies G2 the space that they were looking for. So they run for the hills, they go elsewhere. B-site is where they try. And it looks as if this site, for the most part, is freely taken, with the exception of Amy being lost.
Quite a bit of damage on Wens, though, so she has to drop all the way back to the C site itself. No plant.
Here.
The Fury has stopped that just for now. But Gentlemates aware of every single corner here. And once again, they did the kills that were necessary. Mimi is left behind as residual on this B site, but she goes, as do the rest. The captain falls and left with only Eva on the ship. How can she find a way to steer back in the right direction? It feels like Gentlemates are just a rounds away from finishing this up cleanly.
I mean, that's exactly going to be the case if they reach 11. But, I mean, you're expecting a timeout from G2, right? 11-6. If Gentlemates win the next 2 rounds, it's an even better result compared to the last time that these two played on Haven, which would be absolutely exceptional. And I mean, flawless, that's probably the best way to put it so far for Gentlemates on this defense, excluding the pistol round in Antico.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's a caveat which we've had to add to both halves, and G2, once more, just not showing us the best version of themselves in these gun rounds, which is the scariest part, because I think you always want to be on the other side of the coin, you know what I mean? Like, an early advantage is nice, but if you don't do anything with it, then it's practically valueless.
That's well, just confirmation for those at home. Mimi will become the most accomplished player in Game Changers should she win today. Her 10th title in the scene so far, currently tied with Petra. And yeah, I mean, that just shows you the dedication that Mimi's had so far with this team of G2, where she's been with for 5 years.
Yeah, the most decorated player in EMEA, important to mention. The only player in the server right now that has a championship title, a Game Changers championship. And coming back to what we were saying earlier, when they lost that grand final to Guild X, which sort of teed up that run thereafter. I think it's really interesting, right, how the progression of a year can affect how you feel going into the big events. And like, look, if they lose here today, they maybe lose the next stage, they find a way to qualify, and then they win, you only care about the championship win. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, for Gentlemates, they want to be the protagonists in their own story. And again, it's this unrelenting aggression which has just had absolutely no answer on G2's behalf.
Yeah, I mean, what has been already a great start to the year for Gentlemates as an organisation could get even better as G2 looks to try and fight back, but just walk straight into Berry X's cross here. She is so good, but a couple answers back might allow G2 an answer as we look at Amy towards the C side of the map.
Yeah, Amy's made good progress here and invites Vanya over to get this plant in. It's a little bit more time as they're just being diligent clearing out the map. Mimi's been caught on the flank a couple of times now. Wens is looking for this fight and should take it soon.
Yeah, but those steps will give it away, but the corpse that is giving away Mimi's position. A ping out, Mimi beginning to retreat and rejoin the post plant. As the two players on site are going to feel the wrath of Gentlemate's utility. As they actually find a little pocket in which to play with. That's through Garage. Oh, but they've been pinged out, or at least Amy has. She's even been caught by the trap wire placed there. So Gentlemate straight on towards the spike and begin to defuse. Nami within the smoke. Where are G2 goes and where are they to try and deny the spike? There's Mimi and there's G2's 7th. Finally the answer back.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly close in the end. Wen's such an intelligent player, just reading around the setup, knowing the trap was in Garage, so if Mimi did want to flank, she'd have to go the long way around, and good info there too. Perhaps a little bit of an overheat there in lobby. I think it's hard to call it that, considering how committed they were to the position, but there you go. 11-7, gap closing up just a little bit as G2 show signs of life, but there's an op in play now.
They're very quick to try and deny the opportunity of it. As Tammy's gone off the board, no more smokes, and Berry X in a similar position will not be allowed the same opportunities. G2 goes and will not make the same mistake twice as they charge onto the A site.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Just looking at it there. Gentlemates, bit of a disconnect, not quite landing the shots, which it felt like they were supposed to after that first engagement. And now Wen's forced to save in this situation. I was talking a little bit about her a moment ago. I think her case is uniquely interesting as she's the only player on this side of the server that has experience at one of those GCC events. Also the only player who has won a main event in her history, but now on an international roster rather than the BBL Queens team, which she shared with both Vanya and Eva. So it's a change of scenery, but still showing that she has the quality 3 years later.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big aspect to it, right, is Wens has always been quality, and I think a lot of these players have been as well. When we saw the rumours of Gentlemates perhaps going to pick up a Game Changers team, the question was always going to be, who are they going to pick up, what were they looking for? Obviously Gentlemates are a team or an organisation that want to aim for the top, as we've seen time and time again. And I think the aspect that I'm trying to get to a long way for a shortcut here, is that you look at these players who they've picked up, and it feels as if it's so obvious when you look at this roster and how well it's been played, but it's a very well crafted roster from Gentlemates.
It is. One of the players that we want to highlight here is Berry X, a name which came in from Blackhand, and you know, amongst the accusations and everything else when a new star drops on the scene, just like it was for Vanya, I think we all remember that too. You know that they have a talent on their hands, seriously. The stats back it up as well. we'll be talking constantly tonight, I imagine, about the duels between both her and Akita, who has improved so far in this second half. The one thing that she does have over Akita is that so far this competition, she's been a little less costly on those first deaths. And while it doesn't show on the graphic here specifically, I think it's something that you've got to be thinking about. These opening engagements, is she able to get hers and get out? Because she had been for the most part of this first half. Now, last couple of rounds, we're seeing Gentlemates get punished. What is the change up from them? Do they want to double down? Looks like they're going for this same duel again.
Already identified through the drone, and Big Hunter's Fury to commit here. Doesn't quite get the second tag, but the tee up for Akita is brilliant. But it's only about Nami, all on Nami, sorry, from up on high. Not identified. The players finally see it, will rid her of her ability to even get into this round. And that spike will go down.
Call from the mates coaching staff to go for a very similar play. 3 rounds in a row, just feeling that there was only a slight gap in execution, and otherwise they would have had it. And, you know, I'm there, I would have agreed. But looking at that round, G2 so prepared to just commit an ult instantly and completely foil the plan.
The worst part is, for this moment in time, is that you look at the money left on Gentlemates, and that's why G2 are starting to bear on down in the last 2 remaining. They're going to have to really defend this position, as the spike still is yet to blow up, and the 3 remaining G2 players are starting to close in.
Yeah, they'll try and challenge this, but actually in the end, G2 just end up holding the angles given to them. Don't want to put themselves too far on the back foot, as it is just a couple rounds now, the gap between the two. This is great supportive play from Eva as well, just teeing up the players, revealed Akita able to play the hyper-aggressive game we know her for. It does leave this op in the hands of Marty, which will be an issue in this round. But to be honest right now, Cairo, the round timeline's feeling very similar to what we saw the last time these two teams played. Gentlemates got up 12 rounds to 8, and then it was G2 that actually closed that gap quite a bit before the end.
Yeah, but can they close it even further? Seems as if Gentlemates want to close the gap on A, which they have done time and time again, but not clearing this corner feels absolutely criminal. As Gentlemates once again come away with 2 kills from the A lobby fight. It gets even worse. It's doubled. 4 kills in total. Rifles rescued, perhaps a round in their back pocket.
Yeah, it should be 12-9 now. Not unless Mimi has anything to say about it. Nami straight in for the peak. Absolutely no fear shown on the faces of these mates players so far in the server. Mimi does get a nice first shot, so she's going to need 3 more of these, and it's just not going to happen. Cairo, I mean, credit where it's due. They've gone for the A main fight again, and on the eco it's worked.
Yeah, it feels as if Gentlemates are like, they don't want to play on any other site, right? Like it's been A for all of the attack and A for all of the defense.
I said it in the halftime. Like, this is what you're expecting to see. Existence and IDEX both happy with the results.
Yeah, and the
biggest kill for me is Marty going back in close range with the op and then getting out. Like, it's just audacious.
And for this round, 4 ultimates to get it done, to finish out Haven right here and now. It is a better scoreline from the last time these two played on this map. As we were alluding to, it could be even worse, a better performance for Gentlemates. But with that being said, it's a very slow start, and that usually favours G2 from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, Nami just collecting some information towards A. And G2, while stretched thin at the start of the round, are now starting to congregate outside of A. Mimi on the solo walk down sewers, but as you can see, Gentlemate's playing for retake in that area of the map. Berry does get caught here though. An important trade to be making at this stage in the round.
Well, the Euro now known about, and if G2 don't break out of these Cypher traps, then
Fly destroyed.
I was going to say it could be an issue, because that's exactly what Gentlemates want them to play. So the site taken, but bodies here are ready to fight for Gentlemates.
Yeah, it's this ult combo which they were waiting for with the retake protocol. G2 on the chopping block, Gentlemates closing in, Spike not even planted, but the rest of G2 buried in the ground instead. Gentlemates taking Haven in back-to-back fashion as they did to start the upper final. They go 1-0 here tonight.
Yeah, they do. Gentlemates kicking this best of 5 off brilliantly, and I have to say it was always about pace for the most part for Gentlemates, whether that was down to how they started the round or how they started the retake. Always catching goals in off guard, and yeah, sure, the map was played on one side of the map, but G2 played into that.
Yeah, and while it feels like the decision to change up the comp could have been a good one for G2, I just really feel like we didn't see the application of the theory here too much, Cairo. And again, it's that execution that you question from the coach perspective.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just for the preparation avenue, G2 have tried to do what Gentlemates did in terms of preparing a composition of agents that would directly oppose what your opponents are trying to do, or at least like take your opponents off guard, right? And it just did not work out. I mean, the good thing is, G2, they do have split up next where they are undefeated, but it does worry me.
It does. I mean, look, if we're talking wider conversation, Haven has been a problem map for G2 in recent years. When you look at their runs at GCCs, think back to 2024, I think it would have been, when they were in Brazil, when they were running Sarah on smokes and they'd moved her off duelist and they didn't know what it is that they wanted to go for there. Last year, I think it was another one where they weren't entirely sure which comp they wanted to go with when it got to that stage in the season. And again, here, perhaps just a few questions about identity, but Gentlemates very happy with how this one has started. I think it's an absolute tone setter in terms of the confidence that we're seeing from them as well. And as you say, when it comes to the follow-up on the Veto, sure, Split is like the shoe-in choice for G2, but in the last 2 times they've played it, it has looked closer and closer. So it's not exactly a clear-cut favorite that you take into that one, Cairo.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, just to talk about the coaching staff for a second, if you put Existence in a best of 5 grand final where he can prepare for you, listen, mate, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, look, 2 Apex fans on the desk can tell you all about what happened the last time Gentlemates brought him into a best of 5, but we won't be here for all night, so let's go ahead and throw it over to a break. When we return, we'll have map number 2 of Split for you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey!
Hey, Tom.
Alberto was looking for you, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, you better get there quick.
Okay, I'll go check.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Tom Biz. You've had your fun. It's my turn.
Yeah, I'm a prodigy. Ain't no milk for this ticket, ain't no lottery, no robbing me. My joy comes in the morning, they can't bother me. I'm proud of me. Thought I had to be like y'all, but I ain't gotta be. Took off, had to redefine my worth. Now my mind at ease. Works out of me, comes out of me. We don't see no transitions. Stuck in the same frame of no clip with no ammunition. I am vicious. They can't handle me, I'm too ambitious. Ain't nobody invited you and your friends. This is fan business. Probably shouldn't be worried about your haters. Let that fade off. Whichever cheese told me I wasn't gonna make it. Should've got laid off. I know a lot of y'all thinking when the edge catch don't pay off. And I know your work. Add tax and take off. Take off. Yeah, I gotta win. I can tell they ain't want us around. They ain't gotta say it. Been doing this a long time. I put that on my mama head. Game recognized, game we good. We ain't gotta play it.
I've been in the jump all week. Leveled up though. Ooh wee. That's a whole lot of wins on me. That's a whole lot of wins on me. I'm a big dog. No leash. You all bark. No teeth. That's a whole lot of wins on me. That's a whole lot of wins on me.
Come through like
like I'm Dolomite. Hold up, this a holy site. You think you a legend, what they say, I say for sure you right. All I ever know is being OG, I'm a prototype. Cooler than the polo sweater, brighter than the police light. Beast mode, this a deep grind. Speak gold over each line, no cheat code, I'm a beast bro. You a bistro in it's E-time. Got big goals and a big dream on the beach shore, taking me time. My whole team lit too tough, we too up like peace signs, I'm real. Raised up in the field, grinding while the sun is on me, I ain't got no chill. Get it out the dirt and work like I ain't got a deal. I'm trying to blow 100 bands and tell you lames how I feel. We ain't throwing up a brick, dog. The game tipped off. I'm out the kennel, catch me running with the big dogs. Don't hear the critics, they can kick rocks like kickball. They not important, boy, I'm Jordan to the pitfalls. Too many L's over there, I'm trying to big ball. I'm trying to level up a bit, I'm talking Rich Paul. I hit the floor and get it jumping like I'm crisscross. Throw me and Cannon in the booth and that's a hit, dog.
I've been in the gym all week, leveled up though. Ooh wee, that's a whole lot of wins on me. That's a whole lot of wins on me. I'm a big dog, no leash. You all bark, no teeth. That's a whole lot of wins on me. That's a whole lot of wins on me.
Who do you think that you are? Coming around nose in the air with your fancy car. Ha. You don't think you gotta work hard to see your name on a star on Hollywood Boulevard. You wanna run the world? No, you want the whole wide world to run around you. You. To make your fantasy, you gotta work harder. You gotta work harder. I don't lose control. I just up the scope. All I know is go.
Why have you decided to stick with the Breach on Split instead of pivoting to Double Duelist?
We've played Double Duelist in the past, and obviously Mimi is an exceptional Yoru. However, she's also the best Breach that we have in Game Changers and a Giga support. So yeah, I mean, the Split's just been working for us, having her in that role, and it's been showing in our results, so why change it?
Nice.
So, just hearing from G2's coaching staff there about their split composition and how they're feeling. Of course, we haven't seen a lot of breaches played on this map. I think G2's VCT team are running it. They moved towards the Neon, the double duelist that they mentioned there, and had better results. But it feels like they're just happy to work with what is comfortable, and I guess, Cairo, we'll see if they can put that in practice here on a map which they desperately need.
Yeah, they do desperately need it. And again, we've spoken about it before, right? About the fact when Gentlemates are given the opportunity to prepare, this could be a worrying sign for G2 in this best of 5. I hope that Split is going to be a home ground for them, or else we are really in dangerous waters. The fact that Gentlemates get that double ban and get to put their best map first kind of just shows you where it can go.
Oh, it absolutely does, right? I think, as you said, we are heading into dangerous territory, because after this comes 3 maps which Gentlemates are undefeated on each and every one of them. So it's important to just check in for those who are maybe just joining us on what the status is of the map veto here as well, what progress we're at after map 1 and what's left upcoming. Split on the cards next, and the positives that speak in favor of G2 here is that they have beaten Gentlemates here not once but twice, Cairo.
Yeah, they have. So that gives them the opportunity to use that, maybe gain a little bit of confidence, you know. But at the same time, there's a lot of tape, there's a lot of experience for Gentlemates. So yeah, I mean, Split in general is such a kind of interesting second map to get in their veto, and the fact that G2 have picked it shows the confidence that they have on it.
Yeah, and why shouldn't they? Because it seems that from what the coaches were saying as well, this is something that they want to lean into, that familiarity, which can then help to bleed in some more consistency to the roster. And I think that's the reason why you're seeing both these teams on a boot camp. It's that routine as well. It's what works for them and sticking to that. We've seen it so many times in Game Changers in the past where, you know, even with compositions, you put a player on an agent that they're, you know, more familiar with, then yeah, it just does tend to do better for you than sometimes broadening your horizons if it is not the meta choice.
Yeah, I mean, me and you used to always see it back in the day when we were kind of going up in the scene. I know this is a completely different territory, right? We're at the top of the game in terms of what we're witnessing right now, but we used to always see teams try and implement the meta ideas, but maybe not the full implementation of it, but certainly, like, I imagine they do have the knowledge, but certainly the comfortability on it at this point in time. And I mean, we've seen it time and time again. For instance, I always think of GX in this conversation. Now, that's a team that have always went against the grain because they love that double initiator so much.
Yeah, I mean, look, on the G2 side, we've got a Masters winning coach in Drew, and JT had that experience, not winning Masters, but coaching in VCT with Gentlemates just last year. So you expect them to prepare well. You're not expecting any cut and paste. When it comes to Split and what has been working for them, though, it was that composition that we were talking about, the Breach and the Fade. Mimi noted there as being, you know, a Giga support player, and I think that is kind of the agent that I maybe affiliate her with most when you look at her history here in the competition.
Yeah, I would, but I mean, times are a changing, has it, you know, and sometimes that pool needs to be broadened. And I mean, the fact that she can go from from Euro to Viper to Breach, like, I mean, hey, listen, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, it is. Look, you don't take 10 GC titles without having those kinds of credentials. So, yeah, we'll see if she can find the 10th or if it's going to be ever elusive, I suppose, in that pursuit of greatness. Look, heading into Split now, Cairo talking about the map a little bit more specifically on the mate side. What is it that they've got to do to turn this one around where they haven't been able to?
Easily, like, I guess, like, take their opponents off guard by the fact they've had an extra couple of days to prepare for this. I kind of spoke about it already. But for G2, I think the big thing here is we need to see some of these individuals stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of individuals, if you want to go from the mates' perspective, they've got a Berry and a Marty, which are both playing at an incredibly high level right now, and are both going to be reprising their roles on similar agents heading in here. At least Marty stays on the Yoru. Berry will get a change up in terms of the Razor. That's at least what we're expecting. We can go ahead and look at the agent select now and actually figure out where it is that this one's headed, and if there are any deviations that could potentially be the key to success and unlocking that extra bit of performance for Gentlemates here.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, definitely. But before we do that...
Carry on, mate.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, okay, all right. We're going to get a look at the agent select then, and yeah, quite rightly, there are no changes up on either side.
Yeah, there are, and you know what? That'll play into probably Gentlemates more than it does G2 goes in. But comfortability is always better in that case, as we've already spoken about.
Yeah, and I think on the G2 side, we've just got to be looking at how Akita performs. You mentioned players stepping up, and with how reliant the solo Waylay can be on having a player that is comfortable in that environment and being, I guess, the hard carry in some ways here, is going to be very telling on where G2 currently sit in this best of 5 and what their chances are heading on to what could be an absolute gauntlet of maps if they have to reverse sweep this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better way to go and prove that you deserve to win a grand final than winning on all your opponent's best maps. But for Gentlemates, winning here on Split would definitely prove that they are one of, if not the best, in the region at this current moment in time. The fact that they could go out and win against such a, I guess, such a stalwart in G2 Gozen's map pool.
That it is, and look, they're going to have to find a way to win it 3 times in a row here against Gentlemates if they want to extend this series, make it look a little more competitive. I think Gentlemates are peaking in terms of their confidence right now. They're going to be starting it out on the defender's side, I believe, as well. So a chance to generate early momentum here off the back of the win that we just saw as well. So huge opportunity now to get one step closer, one map closer to a first title in the region.
Well, with Gentlemates starting on the defense, there's no better platform in which to build from. The fact that Split has been in the past so defender-sided, but we've seen it in terms of the side bias move a little bit more central. As you can see on your screens, G2 did win this 13-11 against their opponents of Gentlemates the last time that this was played.
Yeah, and the time before that, we have to recall, of course, it was 13-8 in favor of G2. So the gap has closed as Akita does the exact same here on ramp very early, set up by a Horn in behind the Viper wall and already knocking on the door outside A.
G2 full space in mid if they want to move through it, as Gentlemates don't want anything to do with it right now. The fact there is this opportunity to scale further for Akita. Not even seen at all from the player. Wins down on the site and now deep in enemy lines. This could pose a big issue for Gentlemates.
False sense of security perhaps here, maybe for G2 though. Gentlemates aware of the fact a player could move through middle. You look at Nami's position on B as well. She's also catered to a potential backstab. Marty in the perfect position, but it's Wenz instead that strikes with a double. Akita, her position finally revealed deep in the bowels of spawn, but it's still a 2 versus 1 in front of her.
Yeah, but she's already seemed to escape both players, although
30
going for the fight.
seconds
Wenz is low.
And Berriex pops up at the perfect timing. Gentlemates with their first pistol round in this series. And what an important pistol it could prove to be, getting off to a good start on their favoured defender's side.
Yeah, I think the big aspect for me right now, Hazard, is the fact that Gentlemates come into this and completely stop any momentum that G2 Gozen could have possibly had. A great start. And well, especially being on this defender's side, if they can control the choke points, it could be a very difficult evening on split on attack.
Yeah, I mean, just the way there in the previous round that they decided to give up mid control, also knowing that ramps had been conceded early. Really give Akita the best position from which to play, and again, as she drops at the front of the line here, it's only going to make the cleanup a little easier. Brilliant flash through to set up Marty on the TP play. Couple of bodies dropped here, so Gentlemates will want to make sure that Eva walks away empty-handed. Might be a difficult task to ask for with that judge at close range, but Nami makes sure nothing gets past her, and mates will double up.
That they will, even looking to pick up the judge, which is, we know, at close range on this map can find massive value. So overall, Gentlemates very happy. And, I mean, G2, you can see the pace in which they can actually hit a site as well. But just a little bit, again, I feel as if I see this quite a few times, like in terms of once we get past the execute, there's a little bit of chaos in terms of actually how G2 work together post-execute.
Yeah, I do really feel like sometimes the Waylay is a role player's agent, because you can be hung out to dry a lot of the time when you're trying to dive in. You really rely on that support network of your team in some situations. Akita heading this charge once again, but this time through middle, as Wenz has managed to drop away to the support network of the rest of her team. Brilliant use of the molly, but only going to find one from it actually. And Marty, the re-swing with 2 huge kills to just shift that pendulum back, and well, she's on for another and will find it.
I mean, now the question is where is Ava? But she now has to face up against 4 to get this spike back. And with the way that Marty's playing the op, we can't help but feel that it is going to be a save. And that's exactly the case. Gentlemates could have possibly started this defense off flawlessly.
Getting spotted here. It's Berry going down, but at the cost of information. And with how far away the spike is, this just doesn't even feel like it's within her ballpark at this point in time. Yeah. So it is going to be a save. And it's another round, like you highlighted, where Marty is the star. Denied in Istanbul last year in stage 3, her dream of going to GCC thwarted by G2. But this time, an opportunity for revenge with a brand new squad.
Where are you?
A facelift, Toka taken from that team as well. And if you even look back at that best of 5 Cairo in stage 3, it was one of her weakest performances that we've seen. So to see her so revitalized here in a meta which really suits her, I think, in terms of agents as well, it's really nice to see.
Yeah, it really is. And I think as well, just in general, like the opens is not something like I can remember off the top of my head that Marty was like really lights out at last year, but like genuinely, like the fact that like how snap and quick she is just shows you like in such a massive boon to the Gentlemates defense. Big information from Nami. This is just going to be another quick pop.
Yeah, Kita again at the front, but drops, and behind it, it's Berry at the triple.
Spike down B.
Just like that, G2 knocked down like dominoes, and Eva again finds herself in a familiar situation. Sat in the sewers, but this time there is no rifle to sweeten her luck, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Gentlemates have been incredibly efficient in their anti-rounds, Cairo.
Yes, they have, and that's making the life so much easier. The defense economy, as we know, can have its trials and tribulations. And Gentlemates, with these rounds, are making that even easier. On top of that, Hazard, this might be 2 maps in a row that will see a very early G2 goes in timeout. As I expect after those 4 rounds, Drew and JT are not happy at all.
No, it's another slow start, which you don't expect from players of their caliber, but when it does happen, it's that maturity, it's that experience that actually gets you back in the game, lets you approach it with a level head. A player like Mimi has been competing on all kinds of different stages for over a decade now, so if there's anyone you'd want in charge, it would be her. Quick set piece to try and put Akita in a position of power here, but it's Marty's up on the other side again.
Yeah, but sights are focused towards main, but this is where the Viper Wall will do well to stop the line of sight towards that part of the map. But as it drops, Marty will get the kill that seems to always come her way, and a quick showstopper will at least keep the advantage in Gentlemate's favour after there was a quick trade on the A side of the map.
Wen's just marshalling the situation with her wall right now, needs the smoker support from Nami, but drops off.
Ooh, and another trade coming through, but Nami's swing just as good. Does double up, and that's going to be the difference maker. No trade back, and Vanya, with full HP and just a half shield, will have the opportunity to try and plant the spike.
Nami's already spotted her though, and she has to go elsewhere.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the spray down does end up with Gentlemates finding 5 and the op recovered. Marty, good, but Nami even better with the fact that she got that double spray down and put Gentlemates so far in front.
The timing could not be any better on when this wall drops, because it looked like they were almost completely lined up in her crosshair immediately there. And just speaking of individuals as you were, every player has had their hero moment. I think it hasn't been an issue for anyone on Gentlemates to shoulder the burden when they've been put under the microscope, whereas for G2, they're looking for someone to help do the heavy lifting. You look at just a sample of some of the grand finals that they've played in. As we said, only 1 loss, and that was 4 years ago now, 3.5.
Yeah, and for those wondering why there's a little gap there, that's because G2, for the first and second split, weren't able to reach the grand final and did not have the greatest start to 2025, hoping for a better start in 2026. But so far, this best of 5 has it. It's not going the way you would think in terms of history, in terms of the fact that Gentlemates are here for the first time.
And you see even on that graphic as well, Falcons, another team who, similarly to Gentlemates, in their very first stage as an organization in the region, made it to a grand final. Whereas sort of here, it's looking like Gentlemates might actually be the first team in 5 years to actually go ahead and win that match. Marty, one of the key components to it, and great information to kick off this round.
Berry X is looking to try and follow it up. This is an equal round for G2 Gozen. Trying to stop Gentlemates making history and make history themselves, but it doesn't seem as if that is going to be the case. as expected in this round. Straight away, that A side of the map cleared out, and G2 walk into another rifle. That is Wens, and she is very quickly looking to forfeit this part of the map.
Snaking around, repositioning, not wanting to give an inch to G2. And Gentlemate's taking back the main space as well. Locked out of the garage. The last two players coming in from tower.
And straight into Wens, who, not given the chance to finish off the last, allows Vanya a Phantom in hand. Now, the next couple of engagements needs to be clean. Doesn't even get a chance to shoot a bullet at the opposing number. So, Gentlemates up to 6, G2 not an answer after the timeout, but that is because they were on an equal.
Yeah, and as we were saying before, with the idea in mind that G2 are this gold standard, Gentlemates look absolutely fantastic right now. They've had to really set the tempo. They're playing to the beat of their own drum, and G2 just aren't causing enough problems in my mind, Cairo. They've tried to develop their A play a little bit through ramp, whether it's asserting Akita or a later lurk from Amy, but really, I have to say, Gentlemates are the ones dictating the pace a lot of the time. They're the ones on the front foot.
And we can see that right now with Marty looking to push the issue. That TP is about to expire and identified through the Prowler. Utility used to try and get that kill, but has nothing gained.
Yeah, Akita would have loved to have found a first blood there. Hasn't looked on the ball so far in this grand final. But a player who has, Berry X, already tucked in the corner here with the jump spot from Nami. She goes overlooked, it could be a serious issue. Wants to try and satchel out, but G2 read the situation acutely. And Akita is off the mark, flying into the site now. Drops over the top, and Nami has no ground left to stand on. For the first time in this half, G2 look to have got the better of mates.
It definitely looks as if that's to be the case. Just whether they can hold on to the site now as you look at the last 3 remaining. Not the best utility to try and get back into site. And well, with Toka gone, it gets even worse.
Yeah, Marty trying to snub out this lurk potentially. Plenty of economy to bankroll another operator here, but not going to be able to save this one in the next round unless Wens can go ahead and pick it back up. Amy discreetly repositioning and finding 3 kills on the round. A flawless closure of the first for G2 here.
Yeah, well, the fact that they're able to come straight back in, quick pop, knowing that they need to check these close corners, these close angles that have been catching them off guard. And paying due diligence, which is needed. So with that, an answer back. 4 ultimates, the only one used in the last. If they can space these ultimates to the end of this one, has it? I was going to say we could see G2 maybe coming back into this half, but with a quick timeout, you know that the orders have been given out.
Yeah, and it's a momentum breaker as well. It doesn't allow G2 to do anything with the confidence they may have just accrued in the previous. IDEX and Existence offering relief to their players, something which they understand intimately. IDEX was on the La Masia team, which were promoted to Challengers France only a year ago, and of course Existence has played on the biggest stages that TAC FPS has to offer. So yeah, I think that's really important, them just backing up their team here. You know you're up against it when it comes to alt economy, so just being prepared for any of those scenarios, I think, with the tools that G2 have available.
I mean, just the fact that they have nothing to come back with on their own, Gentlemates, right? Like, they are quite literally going to be mostly a victim to anything, like, in terms of whether that is the Waylay or the Nightfall from Ava. It's really going to be how they try and play the map rather than what they can to what they can use to counter something like these ultimates already mentioned.
The one ult they do have is the Viper's Pit, and that's dropped on Garage nice and early. TP here from Marty, so she can join the A-hold, which she will most likely need to do in a moment's time. There's little info other than that early C's towards B for Gentlemates, and actually with the TP expiring there, Marty pops a new one and won't have anywhere near as much coverage when this execution comes in from Gozen.
Yeah, it's about Berry X and whether they decide to clear her out, but looking at this right now, realistically, I mean, there's nothing catching her. All right, back up, ready to go. Rifle not dissuaded in this position, but easily traded. G2 EMEA will find a double. So a 4 versus 2 in which Gentlemates have to try and clutch up from.
Yeah, Pit dropped into the mix as well, and Marty not looking the right way. Wenz has her work cut out for her here. There is nothing to be done. Economy damage, it feels a little meaningless, I think, as well, because G2 all of a sudden have fallen on luck, and Gentlemates, hard times, actually. Berry X, 150 credits. Doesn't feel anywhere near as comfy as it used to in a matter of moments.
Definitely doesn't. But G2 have used some massive cards that they had in their hand. That's the big aspect of this, and that's the big win. I thought for a minute with Berry X not cleared in the corner that was going to go a different direction, but I'm glad that G2 could have their moment when they needed it. So that lead cut down to 4, and there is still 4 rounds to be played in this half, so this could still go either way.
Yeah, looked like the smoke timing was really good from Nami there on the execution as well. Like you said, Berry cloaked in the corner, but not able to get the better of it. One last purchase before the buy could be broken here for the defenders, as G2 are starting to go through the gears now. Setting up for a B play this time, no Pit to oppose them. It's a clear runway, with the one exception of Marty's Operator. Has barely missed a shot so far.
And it has, I mean, already identified, although it gives her position away, TP away, and lucky to keep her life. You can see right then that the Viper of Wenz wants to get straight out and try and take a fight. Not going to happen. Spike down, clean, 5 versus 5.
Yeah, 2 ults committed to this execution as well. Nami's going to have to from the shadows to clear out space, but all focus on what G2 can do with their own utility.
It's all about how you play off one another, but right now this site looking pretty not well stocked at all. It's looking pretty weak in general. G2 playing mostly off-site. The shot's not hitting, and Gentlemates are straight back in. Vanya from the corner can't defend her position, so we look to the remaining players of G2. A quick flank and 2 heaven. Nobody on the spike to deny. The spam not working out. There's a panic. G2 goes and need to get into position, but they can't. Gentlemates just held the button 4 and defused.
Will go down as a Red Bull clutch for Gentlemates, but it's a complete misplay from G2 in my mind. Double mid re-wrap from both Eva and Amy, but Gentlemates' setup was catered perfectly to it. They still have the Viper Orb in heaven to just whittle them down, and with Nami still alive, she places a smoke on the spike and they full defuse, like you said. So just felt like in that situation where things get chaotic, there's no clarity on the G2 side. Again, maybe an issue with communications in these hectic moments, which feels so out of character for them.
It's just the fact that, like, when you think about it, your post plan, it's always like, what your protocols, what's still available for the opponents? Smokes, so why are we playing off-site? Listen, anyway, into the next round as G2 are starting to pick up the pace through mid and challenge that Heaven's position. Marty has even found the spike.
Down mid.
Yeah, has an opportunity to TP out here as well. Will take it at the first opportunity. Berry put down to a judge, but finds a kill with that in A main. Wenz even with a Spectre dropping another. It's a 4 versus 2, Cairo, and G2 just don't have a way in.
It just feels like you're left scratching your head, but that coin flip fight goes Vanya's way and does allow for the site to open up in G2's favour.
Yeah, that was one of the rifles, but coming back in, there's a couple more of those and a rocket. Berry lights the fuse, doesn't hesitate but for a moment. Again, Gentlemates playing with conviction here as they start to course through the site. The rocket will finish off Vanya, leaving only Mimi alive in a 1v3. Best breach in GC, well, you've got to show it now, and unfortunately, she just doesn't quite have enough to take it. An 8th round on this defender's side for Gentlemates again to start the map.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, left scratching your head, and if you're Drew Spark, you're sitting here and asking yourself, do I have to use another timeout here, really? Is this the position we're at? I know G2 have been, for the most part, pretty direct, pretty fast, but no timeout. G2 can put all their hopes in this defensive half.
Yeah, they have to at this point in time, and it just feels like they're playing with limitation. It's hard to posture, honestly, because Gentlemates look free-flowing right now. Marty on the off angle. Akita never stood a chance.
Wow.
Life has been unfair on her so far in this series, but it's from none other than the good graces of Mates that has set them up on that course.
It feels as if Marty has 9 lives if you're speaking about lives being unfair, because the fact that she's able to take that fight, see 2 more and TP away, that's another dimensional drift up. This is insane. The fact that this A side of the map is being cleared by Marty. Oh.
It has been cleared, but G2 are still lingering around. I have a rough idea of what it was that was going on, and I think actually leaves a bit of a gap, and Berry has to reposition herself back here on the site.
Yeah, and Mimi does have a big execute ultimate, or even one that could
but she's in
perhaps
middle,
have been
Cairo.
used in
She's in
post.
middle.
Mate, that could have been such a huge card for G2, but instead we look at Berry in the corner, uncleared, and the rifle coming out into play with Nami to help. Gentlemates are certainly on their track to history, on the road, well on their way. G2 goes in, have not had an answer.
I mean, this is just unprecedented. It really does feel like, you know, the only one benefiting from G2's plans right now is Mimi. She had a good first map, decent second map so far as she leads the way, but just everyone else isn't on the same page. I don't think I've seen Akita underperform this much since, what, GCC last year, and even then she looked unbelievable in some of those maps. This is really, really strange to see.
Well, those cards that we spoke about last time, those ultimates that were perhaps able to be used, are gone. They're used in this round now as we expend ourselves into a 4 versus 4, and the spike's still to go down. But you look at G2, they're going for a pretty safe plan.
Yeah, not too much space from which to play. It's through ramp, really, that this round lives and dies for G2. Eva and Amy again in this position. How much value can they possibly generate?
Should be, has to be a lot as they play passively, waiting for Gentlemates to begin the retake, but you can already see Amy's been identified, but it's Eva instead with 2 big kills. G2 goes and look to finally win a round in which has been and feels like so long. Nami with a chance to snap onto a second. It does not work out. G2 find their 3rd round and a lifeline for the second half.
Last player standing.
A fantastic start for Gentlemates on the defence, but G2 need to show us something more if they're going to have anything in this best of 5 grand final. We spoke about dangerous waters, but we're right in the middle of it, and G2, they need the lighthouse to show them the way home.
Yeah, and that light at the moment seems to be Mimi. She and the coaches with a strong connection. A new G2, a better G2 is what she promised with those changes delivered. And I have to say, I feel like you can see what the plan is, but yeah, again, the execution just missing and individually not the best. Satchel thrown out from Berry there, actually maybe just a bit of a fake to suggest there's a double dive going on in ramp.
I like the idea, playing with the sound cues, but nothing off the back of it. And there is confirmation there is a player on top of ramp because of the Prowler, but nobody's seen anybody. And you can see right now, Gentlemate's already beginning to work elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, almost a full re-clear of A here from G2, and they do get rewarded for it. Mimi finds Marty, but as you say, Gentlemate's gathering up in the tower and ready to drop now and descend onto the B site where G2 fall one by one. Amy the last left, and she's already gone. Mimi searching for something in the darkness, but it does not end. The clouds continue to gather over the heads of Gozen. And Berry to bury the last as they go double digits with a second pistol in this map.
Yeah, we spoke about G2 needing to find the light, but the only light they can see right now is another ship passing them by. Gentlemates with a real opportunity now to go and charge on from split, to get to 11, to get to 12 first. And then from there, the opportunities could grow and grow. So double digits found. What did G2 have for us in this anti-eco where, let's be honest, Hazza, this has been one of the weakest parts of their game so far.
Catch them.
I think right now, for me, it just speaks volumes about how efficient this Gentlemate system is to elevate all the players in it, in the fact that Toka went the whole first half without finding a single kill on Fade, yet her information through the utility and setup for everyone else was enough to give them 9 rounds. She's got a couple now here on the attack, and by this point you'd assume that mates are almost unstoppable, and I think you'd be correct in that assumption. The B site dismantled for a second time, and Eva's whereabouts is already known. Wens will finish off her former teammate, as mates do it flawlessly. Cairo just 2 rounds away from what could be the last map in this series.
We could be heading to that. That depends on whether G2 have anything to show for us, and this is where it starts, because it's the rifle round. This is where we expect to see G2 shows the goods, and it is split. We've seen it before. We've seen massive comebacks for before. This is, or used to be, the comeback map, right? This is where we expect it to be.
Yeah, right. You know, the lopsided halves would suggest that to you, but I think when you look back at G2's rifle round success rate, well, only 5-1 on the first map. Eva here has to get things started for them with some positivity, and does so. 2 kills under her belt and support arriving. Should be sunny signs for G2 now. And it is exactly. Finally a little bit of fight back. Wens won't walk away with all too much here.
No, definitely not. Not given much at all. The Rifles finding the bite that we expected them to, and with only 2 lost, it's that old saying that you always say, 3 can buy for 2, but 2 can't buy for 3. So G2 can move themselves into the next map with, or to the next round with everything that they should need. And I think that's the round that really decides where this map goes and whether G2 will have that chance to begin a comeback.
And it's through this breach and waylay where you're expecting that to happen. The counter utility with the stun and hinder can be absolutely huge. I think
like this.
Waylay has given this agent a new lease of life.
Gonna fall back here.
100% agree. G2 already taking quick B space, but I mean, look at the protocols from Gentlemates to immediately pivot on towards A after space has been taken away from them.
And with a full double dive, they get onto site so quickly as well. Plant coming in, but I mean, G2 equally as quick with this flank from Eva. Can't connect the shots, and so gets caught in the Nightfall instead.
Yeah, forced back, and this line from G2 is so difficult to try and work with. Look at Gentlemates and look at how they're trying to play on the front foot in terms of main. G2 now forced to either come out of heaven or CT.
Yeah, and with Wens, this late win condition through main as well. No smokes for G2 right now, except for on the site. They're just diving straight into trouble. Gentlemates lining up and just drop the guillotine straight on G2's head. Again, the Queens fall
So close.
to their challengers, and Gentlemates move a step closer to taking the throne.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic from Gentlemates. The post plant, how quickly they are to support each other, the quick decision making that you pointed out in Haven is still here on Split. And I think as well, G2 just wasted time trying to clear out main through Ava and not working it as a unit. How many times have we said it? How many times have we pointed out? It doesn't feel like a unit for G2. It feels like it's a bunch of individuals that sometimes show what we expect of them. So far in this grand final, it feels like Gentlemates have the advantage, and I'm not just talking about round count or anything else like that.
Yeah, no, like I said, it just feels like they're connected at the hip. Like, the synergy has been fantastic, the comms, and it's crazy to say as well, because in preparing for this, you know, you look at the team and both Barry X and Wens, this is their first time on an international roster. The only other player they'd played with previously, HTM, you know, who was with Toka and Marty on that Twisted Minds team that we saw towards the latter end of last year. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, they were literally saying we've been struggling to communicate at times, right? Because English isn't our mother tongue, but here they are, and just making it look so seamless. It's incredibly impressive to witness.
And well, we could be impressed even more so if Gentlemates were to win this map and push themselves to 13. Remember, Existence and IDEX will have their opportunity to speak to their players and set them up for success as well following G2's timeout. They'll also have their own game plan, their opportunity to try and win out this map here and now, as it seems to be through mid and towards B, where there's been no challenge from G2.
Mates have been incredibly good at exploiting this as a weakness for G2, where the focus has really been on main control for the defenders at this point in time. Mimi catching wind of what's going on, but it may be too little too late. Supported by a flash of Marty's, in fact, that was it. Vanya's out in main on a solo mission, and while the Bucky is going to be rewarded for its positioning, it was just the one. A second picked up by Amy gives this life.
Does. It's the post plant though. We've seen Gentlemates thrive time and time again. And here we go. Berry X taking a timing, and that's Showstopper online. This could be it.
Yeah, the rocket gets dodged by Akita, but she's on borrowed time here as well. Toka to put the final nail in the coffin on Split, and from losing this one twice, back-to-back against G2, both 13-8 and 13-11, Gentlemates flipped the script on its head in the grand final with a 13-4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else that can be said but the result. That speaks itself. G2 have not been at the races so far, Hazza. We saw that on Haven. We saw that to just now on Split. But we have one more map for them to show us that they can stay in this best-of-5 grand final. Well, this will be done in 3.
Yeah, I mean, you asked for an individual to step up. We saw a decent performance from Mimi on the breach, and I like the coaches were saying in the build-up, this is the age in which she feels that she plays best on. It just doesn't feel like for the rest of the roster, maybe. We saw all of the right pieces coming together for Berry on the opposite side, though. Well, and everyone else on Mates, if we're being brutally honest. Toka started with an 0-5 first half and still finished positive. So, again, it speaks volumes to what they've been able to achieve here.
Yeah, it really does. I think for the most part, right now, like, again, it comes back to this question of can the individuals step up, and is the system, I guess, flawed in a sense that it's setting up Mimi for success but not the rest of the players. This is the problem that I have, but also we spoke about it, Gentlemates, and the fact that they'll have time to prepare for this map. I mean, it looks like they've prepared very, very well, Hazza, considering the result.
Yeah, I really felt like they just focused on what it is that they needed to win, what those win conditions were. In terms of the preparation, a little bit of ante perhaps, positionally, always felt like they were one step ahead of G2 on the map and where their priorities really lay in terms of that control. A couple of times where G2 maybe had a lurk or a late flank coming in, and Mates just looked completely unperturbed, quite happy to let G2 have that space as long as they knew that they could recover from the situation, be it in a retake or a site hold. So yeah, generally, Cairo, across the board, I'm incredibly impressed with what we've seen out of this team. And look, we'll have to see if they can wrap it up cleanly with a 3-0, or if G2 want to extend play tonight and send us to a 4th or even a 5th map to retain yet another title. We'll wait and see if that's the case or not after a break. Don't go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wingman World while... what?
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wingman World while wanting a well-won break. Let's go!
After defeating G2, what is the team current mood and how are they handling the pressure of a grand final? Particularly for those players experiencing their first best of 5.
Hello everyone. The mood is very good. We know on what we have to focus, and I think there is only Berix for who is the first grand final. Yeah, usually they're not the kind of player who is overseeking, so I think she's gonna do like usually, like join the server and to destroy everyone. Here there is Nami complaining, like often, and but I think no one won any grand final here yet in the EMEA GC scene. So today is a good day to start everyone together.
It's a good day. Today is a good day.
And of the question, Smiley Beast, big boy.
Man, the end of that interview still throws me off every time I see it. Like, I feel like Existence could yap for the whole of France if he had to, honestly. But
yeah.
Look, you can tell that the vibes are good in the camp right now. Big boy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe put them away, mate. But listen, I think that the thing that I would take away from that interview is that, as you said, it's the vibes, it's how they feel, and I think it's how they've set themselves up for success, right? It seems like a very cohesive team. They're chilling, they're having a good time. Nobody's like serious or anything. They're always smiling and laughing. And that's how you set yourself up for a grand final, whereas we look at G2 goes inside, it feels rigid, it feels like there's a lot of pressure there, and I feel as if Haza, we could be in a position right now where goes in maybe regret how this day's gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it feels like that right at the start at the very least. Haven as an opening map probably wouldn't have been the worst situation for them. Like you say, they had preparation specifically catered coming into that map. For Split, they've already won it twice. They felt pretty confident in what their game plan looked like, but I think there you've seen that it was exposed in terms of the limitations of it and some of that weakness. So, yeah, I think absolutely they're not going to be happy with how it started. It's just a question of if they can find a way to turn it on its head. And it's an absolute gauntlet that they've got to go through now if they want to pull off this reverse sweep. We can take a look at the bracket, or not the bracket, sorry, we can take a look at the graphic with the maps that we've seen so far already in this series and where it is that we're building towards here, Cairo. And yeah, you just go across it one at a time and it doesn't make for any easier reading. Pearl mates are 6-0, Breeze, they're 3-0 and they've beat G2 there. And then Abyss, well, they only played each other once on that, and that was also a win for Gentlemates.
Yeah, that it was. I mean, the fact that you play it 6 times, the fact you've won it 6 times, that's a fair amount. But don't forget, G2 are also undefeated on this map, Haza. It's just they've got a lot like smaller sample size, just the 2 times played. So whether they can make it 3 wins out of 3 is another thing entirely. And yeah, Gentlemates, with how they've looked so far, how practiced they are on these sort of maps, yeah, I think Gozen could be in for a tough shift.
Absolutely, and I think when you look at Pearl as a map as well, it is a map in general which is very intensive in terms of your reactions, your protocols, and that stems from the communication, which I think has looked pretty lacking for G2 so far, Cairo. So in terms of what you're expecting from them here, whether it's a change up in terms of agents, which is now ready for us with agent select, or if it's just got to be a mindset thing to get this one kick-started, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and I don't, for me so far, I don't think it's been like a game plan thing. We've seen that G2 have got a game plan, but it's something that we saw from Drew and JT when we had their coach interview. It's the execution of what they want to try and do here. So when we look at what's being brought out, the Euro for the first time for Gozen, which I'm excited for, but for Gentlemates, it's more of the same.
Yeah, it is at this point in time, and it actually tees us up quite nicely. We have a mirror matchup here, Cairo, so I think if there was any best way to quantify what the difference between these two teams is right now on maps which they've both been able to win 100% of the time, albeit Gentlemates with a few more reps, then look, absolutely, why not? G2, this has to be the start or it's going to be the end.
That is 100% right. This could end right here, right now. A historic grand final with either team about to do a first. But for now, it all rests on peril. Both teams playing the exact same comp. Both teams completely undefeated. But only one can come away with the win. Who comes out on top has it. We're about to find out.
That we are. It all hangs in the balance. We're in purgatory in this stage of the series. A dominant showing on the second map. G2's pick from Gentlemates leads you to believe that they are in the prime position right now to walk away with this one. But Gozen have performed reverse sweeps before. It was the story of their championship win back in 22, albeit a completely different team now, only Mimi left remaining, and in looking to try and take that 10th title for both her and the club, it is an uphill struggle and then some.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it looks as if finally we look to drop those barriers. Players lined up outside of B, most importantly, it's the two duelists for G2, Akita and Mimi, as they look to try and challenge this long space. There's many for Gentlemates as they look to try and send it their way. Mimi's still hanging around though, looking to try and get an angle. Continuing to brawl their way through, finally dips out, but leaves Akita to try and get played in. What? Doesn't work out, and Berry Shorty gets the kill.
I was not expecting Berry to find that one, but Amy has found a couple to bring G2 back from the brink here, Cairo.
That she has, but won't be able to get any more. Mimi drops in. That Sheriff non-create finally comes through. Two big headshots, perhaps ones which will win out. Nami nowhere near this part of the map, but we're able to at least trade out on Mimi. Brings it to a 2v1.
Yeah, caught sleeping for just a moment. Nami only with one star to play with here. Vanya puts the smoke up in full, and she will recall you expect to bridge that gap.
That she will. That star will bloom into a smoke in a moment. We're just waiting for the utility to come back, and that's exactly where Nami goes. But G2 immediately take the space away. Walking into Nami's ghost. Oh, the shots! A little bit worrying, but at least goes and escaped through.
That was incredibly close. Cut fine in the end. But I have to say, seeing Mimi for the first time on a Yoru in this series where she's part of this double duelist with Akita, wanting a bit more of a 1-2 punch from them, and starting to see them actually get the benefits of that is a positive sign, I think, with where things currently sit. Especially when you consider the maps that we've got coming up, like Breeze, where it'll be more of the same with this Neon and Yoru.
Yeah. This is an old one. The camera through mid for the Cypher. Mimi is able to at least take out Marty. So for the most part, Anticos and Pistols have not been much of an issue for G2. As they continue on in this fashion, still keeping everybody alive, and Marty gone off the board.
Yeah, we've not seen a single anti-eco dropped so far by either team. It's more the bonus rounds, or the bonus on the previous map from Gentlemates that is of note. G2 winning a double pistol on Haven. Mates the same on Split. It's really just been in those rifle rounds, right, where things have actually started to fall apart for them. And I think if you want to talk as well, like I said, about the rest of this series and with how things can be at the start of the year, it's, finding out what works for you best, and
camera taken out.
That is what they've got to adapt to mid-series here.
Already see Mimi wants to try and fight her way through. A good dart allows for G2 to capitalise, and for the most part, no sweat really broken. A flawless round sets up the bonus, and this is where I'm expecting G2 to show or be challenged a little bit more. But we have seen a bonus round go successfully for the defence, like we saw on Haven.
Yeah, we have done, and look, they've got the weapons to do it here as well. It was a Gentlemates bonus. I think it's important to note. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry, I meant.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's choice weaponry here too. I think like if G2 can win this round, then I'm interested. You know, then maybe things can start to turn in favor of them.
It seems as if this is again Gentlemate's decisiveness about how they want to play in general, and already taking space away from mid, taking space away from B main as they continue on. Right now, the players are really posing questions of this defense and whether they'll break the peak first. Not going to be the case, but they do have a place in which to work that is back of sight. As Gentlemates take their time slowly scaling on towards the site, and Mimi escapes.
Oh, but Akita goes diving in solo, so she's going to end up dropping here, Cairo. And actually, it gives mates a 5 versus 3 two-player advantage in post. Not much utility for them, but doesn't matter. Nami gets a double, and there you go. That's it.
But I think Akita diving in like that is the story of how G2 have been in this best of 5. The general plan in terms of Mimi TPing out, I mean, Akita diving in, it completely disconnects the whole team and gives a greater advantage to an attack that didn't necessarily need it. A simple
and that's what we
like
want to
that.
see improvements on. You know, and it is mistakes like that are going to cost you because, I mean, it makes a difference as well when the first 2 maps you've not been running double duelist and then you come in here dry on the 3rd one with the combo of agents that I think is probably most best suited to where things currently sit.
Yeah. G2 very quick in taking up A main, giving away 3 steps of footsteps. 3 sets of footsteps, but nobody there to hear them. So very quickly you can already see Akita making their way over to reinforce the B site where there is plenty of utility sat right now.
Yeah, Cypher Cam of Amy's does get spotted by Gentlemates here as well, so they are cautious of the fact there could be trap wires. Only 1 towards the back of the hallway, and Mini does find 2 before the execution comes in. Toka finally reversing the result, but Marty's extra isn't enough. It's absolute chaos on site. Toka would need a quad here to bring it home, and having only just found her first kill involvement there, it was not going to happen.
It's a massive round for G2 to win though, Hazza. The fact that they come through it, I mean, every single time that we've seen this so far, it's been G2 who are on the back foot. G2 have not won a single 4th round so far in this series, and they've actually started things off right. The fact that is the case and they're in a position now where we won't see a 5th round timeout is a change for the course.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I guess when you look back as well, at the players on Gentlemates that have been in these best of 5s before, now coming into the next gun round, they've been to grand finals before, but they've never been 2 maps up in a grand final, you know? Not with this kind of a situation in front of them where you really look like G2 are the team on the back peg, but into this round, getting ready for the execute, it's called off. Or in fact, sorry, they've got to go straight for it because Mimi has popped her ult.
Yeah, well, they have. Gentlemates are really flinging the ultimates into the mix in general. I mean, the fact that there's been no value come through from the Hunter's Fury is going to be an issue, but the Cosmic Divide providing a lot of safety for this attack. It's about where the defence go next, as they're already in towards the back lines. Do they consider Marty? And does Nami get the opportunity to capitalise? No! A quick trade and Marty comes through. Gentlemates, absolutely brilliant so far through the post. It's up to Vanya and Mimi to try and clutch up now. But that opportunity has gone. And Gentlemates are back within 1.
Yeah, really, really nice trades from Gentlemates there. You could see Nami was caught in a bit of an awkward position in R, or just outside of it, because she had to also watch for the cross on site as well, but it's actually enough to get Marty in position to find the 2 kills through Connector. And the post plant stands the test in the end, where it didn't look like Gentlemates had given themselves too much room to play with. And just look at the ramifications it's had on G2's buy. I mean, they've run out of money almost instantly from riches to rags and the other way around.
It's how quickly that rounds can shift and the tides can turn. And Gentlemates so far have felt like that team that can very quickly punish you, can put you to the sword. As G2 get dragged, gravitated towards this B site, Gentlemates have stopped and stalled and waiting for a reaction, but they're not going to get it so far.
Yeah, there are 4 players in red shirts here for G2. And one of them up close is Akita with a stinger. Smoke immediately there to just block vision, and actually Akita is able to get out with her life as well. In the meantime though, Gentlemates have found a lot of this A space. Cam left behind from Amy and Main should have good information when the spike arrives, but for now, it's theirs for the taking.
I mean, the fact that you've got so much space to walk into, the fact that you can go and take extra space away is huge. I mean, Gentlemates finally will go and clear out. Wen's the only one seen, but G2 will action off the back of that information. As post-plan we've seen before on the A site, it had a Cosmic Divide and other ultimates, but it was very favourable for the attack, and I expect more of the same, especially because G2 are on pistols.
Yeah, Akita just playing cautiously here. You anticipate mates to be pushed up, and Nami has a brilliant position to just counter the flood coming in. Should be calling to the rest of her team that she's got it under control, and that's exactly it. Gentlemates tying things up at 3 apiece against the Eco, but they handled it brilliantly again.
That they did. Only really one lost, and that was a Canary in the coal mine for the B site, right? You see here Marty getting caught out. And yeah, post-plan overall, yeah, it gets past marks for me if I'm being honest, has it? And as they always seem to do so far for Gentlemates attack. I've not, off the top of my head, can't really remember a Gentlemates post-plan that has been made to sweat.
Yeah, I mean, with Gentlemates' record, they would be considered the best team in EMEA right now on this map for good reason. G2 trying to go against the grain here and actually set the pace themselves. They do a brilliant job of it. Akita combining with Eva again with that Hunter's Fury to net a first kill in the round.
Now, Gentlemates pivot straight into a death ball as they continue to walk towards the B site. No challenge, the cam very deep and won't get the information until maybe it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, not until a player could have been holding the same angle out on the site. You look at the position from Mimi here, has the TP ready to go, but that'll send her over A-wards. Has to stick it right now and commit to this position with Amy dropping in the back lines. Akita does manage to just flood out a little bit here into the middle of site. Toka is going to drop, but the wraparound is already coming through, and Marty nails the shot to the head of Akita. Ult active for Berry and knows that it's a target-rich environment in front of her, trying to set this back up with a flash as Mimi, but G2 have been stopped in their tracks.
30 seconds
but that
left.
kill could give a little bit of respite. The spike's still tapped, and look at this. G2 still want to fight.
Safe plant in the end from mates. G2 want to catch the timing off the back of this. Berry goes down as her hands are busy, but Wenz is there for the trade. 2 versus 1 situation. Vanya has util from which to work, but it's Wenz that will stop that one where it stands. Gentlemates make this a 1-round game and take the lead for themselves.
They do. And remember, this is the pivotal map. This is the most important. We spoke about it at the start. This is the map where history could be made by Gentlemates in terms of an organisation who comes straight in and wins their first title, win their first split of ever competing. No wonder G2 goes in, are going to time out. It's been 3 rounds in a row, but 3 rounds of no contest.
The player on your screen that we want to talk about is Akita. You look at her statistics coming in at the top of the day and it makes for good reading, right? I think the only area where she's maybe a little lower would be on the KD, but as someone who plays a lot of Waylay, you're not expecting big numbers with how sacrificial you can be at times. Same with the first deaths, but from her performance today, I mean, you expect those numbers to drop thereafter because I have to say it's not been easy work for her someone who talked so much coming off the back of the GX game about being confident. She's not a very outspoken person, right? But she has a lot of energy, and with her teammates, especially Amy, who's seen on socials recently, has been feeling really good about the Valorant that she's been playing. And right now, I guess this map probably so far is the best sign of that we've seen.
Yeah, I think for the most part, what we've seen so far is Akita hasn't got the greatest start, but the good thing is, an extra map compared to a best of 3 to warm up into, and well, unfortunately for Mimi, she has been left out in the lurch, and unfortunately cleared out. Akita though, very quick on the mark, and is able to at least catch Nami off.
Just snatches at it quickly, but now mates completely encircled in sight, need to punch their way out of this.
Yeah, looks like we're going to fight their way out of this as Marty's rifle starts to get hot. The fact of that rifle, the barrel already getting the bullets off, and I mean at this point in time it feels like when it comes to engagements,
unreal.
Why would you even mental mates? When I see an individual in a fight, I can't help but feel I'm always favouring the attack at the minute.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? They're boxed into the site, and then the call is there, snap decision, whether it's Nami or someone else. Let's go fight in towards spawn. Reveal is perfectly timed on the flash, meant that Vanya was turned away and couldn't break it. Seen a couple of these combos now coming through. And that's what sets them up to extend their advantage coming into what will be a full purchase for G2. They've won only one of these rounds so far. Kita trying to make something happen, but already shown the door.
Very quickly. Yeah, look at that. Cosmic Divide up, and we've seen this before, Hazard, but it's a different wall actually being used.
Yeah, it is. It's a wall which actually allows Berry and Marty to get so deep through flowers. Mimi doesn't know what's hit her. Absolutely no heads up on the situation, and they double dip. Oh my god, Berry and Nami combining. Same duelist, different partner. Leaving only Amy behind, and already Wen's closing in. Can't finish it off, but you expect the next to do it. And it's Marty that throws her hat in the ring this time. This is just unrelenting.
It has a... I'm not one for saying it, but it definitely feels like Gentlemates are just on a different level at this moment in time. And a grand final of all stages. I can't help but emphasise it more and more, but the fact that it feels like G2 are helpless right now, and they need some sort of life support.
Yeah, look, whether that's a timeout or something else, I don't know, but from... yeah, it is a timeout, actually. From an outside perspective, if you didn't know who was who, we're talking veterans of the scene, almost 10-time winners versus first stage debutantes, at least as an organization, as a set of 5, with a player who's just come out of their rookie year. Only one grand final win, and that was 3 years ago on Wens. Like, so many near misses, and they look like the senior force here. It's just a completely different ballgame to what the expectations would have set you up for, really.
Yeah, the full expectations, G2 being welcomed back as the Queens of EMEA after the split 3 win last year. The fact that G2 were coming into this year with a proper off-season under new coach Drew and additional support in GT. This was meant to be the recipe for success. An 8-1 record in the group stage. Gentlemates just as good though, and there's plenty of bodies being seen there. The trap activated, but Gentlemates just as good to it. Well, there's a couple of trades back, but they even go one better with the spike in their back pocket.
Yeah, 2 players still in mid here for mates, so upgrades to be had on the G2 side. That cannot be contested. Eva has taken a bit of damage.
A little bit of damage, but more damage dealt out wins. Brings it to a 1 versus 1 and can collect Spike.
Yeah, too far away from a neural theft to get the heads up here versus Amy. She has her ult online, but all of the bodies scattered in A main as it stands.
I have retrieved the spike.
Spike at her disposal, but still seems A-bound, and Amy here ready to receive. The classic would be enough.
And it would. That's exactly what she's going to opt for. Better at long range, and Wen's waits. Maybe have seen, but doesn't anticipate a thrifty round for G2. This is the first of the full series for the Goes and Girls. But can they go one better and kick on from here?
That's what we're waiting to see, because this was a brilliant individual moment from Eva, and then just the catalyst for change you're hoping on the G2 side. Relief from the coaches, and quite rightly, the timeout suggesting that they should fight A main again, and perhaps Gentlemate's not expecting it so much on the eco.
The last time that G2 won a round after a timeout, after Gentlemate's dominance, we saw Existence come straight back in. That's not the case here. And Gentlemates need to be careful of the mid push. Are able to find Mimi. And G2 gambling on the the B side of the map, they would be correct.
Yeah, there are trap wires here though, and Akita already in position 2. She's been a highlight so far. How many more can she find on site defense?
Well, you're hoping for more. Well, at least gets one, but the trade is quick, and Amy now under fire, trying to hold on to the back of site. There is bodies here to help, and that would be Eva. Most importantly, a great grab to grab another kill for Amy. Looking to try and play off of the timing, gets one more. So right now, you thought for a minute G2 were back in. But it's just Eva at the back of sight, found out by Wens. And Gentlemates have an advantage on Pearl to take to the second half.
Just the drone there at the end as well from Toka just forces Eva out into the open, and Wens doesn't miss a beat. Finger on the pulse so far in this round. This map as well. I think it would be fair to say she's definitely been pulling her weight. And G2 have a bit of a mixed purchase off the back of it as well, which isn't going to make things any easier for them. Gentlemates closing in on a potential 8-4 half.
It would be absolutely huge. Looking to try and create the pressure on the B side. And look at Akita, look at Eva. They're reacting to the pressure being created. Gentlemates, this is not where they want to finish. They want to just open up a gap in the middle of the map.
Because of G2's current financial troubles, though, they're a little more complicit in making a heavier gamble, a stack. So off that initial pressure you spoke about, they're ready and waiting on B. There's not a single player taking contact for them here. No jump spot, no info. So it's just off the audibles so far, which they've actually been rotating. Mimi is the deep insert. She's already in A main, and Barry has spotted her.
Yeah. It seems as if G2 are like moths to a flame every single time pressure is created, but this is the perfect post-up execute that Gentlemates would have wanted, but not if Akita and Mimi can combine like that. They've started their execute, started the pressure, and look, the spike is heading elsewhere. G2 would be right to gamble on this going elsewhere, and that's why we're starting to see bodies head in that direction. That's why we're starting to see Gentlemates try and create another position of pressure, and one which opens up the site. Time is getting
Nami's
low.
got to come back this way, right? They were encroaching on B, but if Amy can find the kill to cut her off here, that might just win the round.
It could do, but Berry X is already on the case and looking to hold down the site. Akita's shot's good, but can't deny the spike. That's the biggest point. That's the biggest point of call as Akita comes in with their own, tries to get the reload off, but Vanya's there to protect. 2 versus 1, and a cosmic divide makes this even harder as Wens comes through. Akita is there. We're within 2, head into that second half.
Switching sides. They're dead. 10 seconds left. Planted. Last player.
The closest half that we've seen between the two teams so far in this series. Mates enjoying a couple of 8-4 starts, but now knocked down onto a 7-5. G2 trying to subvert the expectations that we have of them here, because so far tonight it has been the story and the sole story of one team only. Finally, G2 starting to show us what they can do.
Yeah, that it has. Gentlemates have thoroughly impressed me and you, it's fair to say. As this is the 6th new map that these two have played against each other so far in Game Changers. G2 tried to bring something new. The double duelist actually copied what Gentlemates want to do, but can their attack be as potent, if not more so, if they want to win out this peril? As Gentlemates look to respect the force that G2 are putting towards the A side of the map.
Yeah, it's a stun traded for a TP as Marty gets out there, so less tools for this execution here on the G2 behalf. Another player caught inside a trap, and so Nami just makes heads roll. 3 from her, and there isn't a bullet left in the gun for Amy to finish the deed that she started, so it's over in lightning fast fashion. And for the first time in this series, a double pistol has been denied.
Yeah, that it has. I mean, G2, have been good on their pistol rounds. We've seen many a time the plans come out, but at this moment in time, it feels like G2 just, again, just missing a step, just falling over their own feet. And when it comes to the execute, Gentlemates are the ones who come out on top to actually win out the round.
Yeah, bringing a lot of the same ideas that we saw from G2 on their site holds, that you have to have backside on Pearl on A, otherwise you are really going to struggle sometimes to actually anchor that effectively. And with the traps there as well, not having anyone deal with it just makes life incredibly difficult. Like I said, they invested early utility to try and clear out Marty's position, but light on her feet, the Yoru as always. And I actually want to use this opportunity while we're in the tech pause to come back to something that you were mentioning there about the maps that we've seen between these two teams, and what you were saying earlier about the coaches as well, and how Gentlemates do tend to do better with the amount of tape that they have. They are a very prep heavy team, or at least Existence as a coach has that notoriety as he was. We were alluding to the final of Ascension in 2023 against Apex, how he'd been scrimming them for, you know, the best part of a year, and they hadn't won almost any of those games, but then actually it was all just building towards the eventual ante that sort of helped set them up to take that in a full sweep, right? A 3-0, which is what this is starting to now lean towards.
Yeah, and I think at this point in time, G2 goes in are lucky. And you ask, why are they lucky to lose 3-0 in a grand final? Well, they're lucky to be existence very early on in the year and to consider what could be a very long year in EMEA, you know? So I think that's the big thing about this, and the notoriety as a coach can very quickly be sussed out as a team.
And G2 have the depth in map pool to play best of fives. Always. This is something that you credit to them every single year. It's why they've only lost one grand final in their history as an organization so far. But I think if there was any team to make it to, it's this very special Gentlemates roster that we have seen forged together so far. I mean, the story of this team as a whole has always been a pretty miraculous one, right? From SBG, the initials of Squeezy, Brock, Skotiger, creating it, right? From very humble beginnings to now has been fantastic to watch over the years.
Yeah, it really has, and I think like that's the big thing so far, is the fact that Gentlemates have just grown from strength to strength. Started in Tier 2, are actually a real homegrown aspect towards Valorant, and one that we should all be proud of in a way. Like, you know, I'd say I've got a little bit of a soft spot in terms of thinking, I like to see them do well because of the fact that they did come from Tier 2 and the fact that it has been a homegrown project and not something that has just had loads of money thrown at it and expected for it to win.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the journey from Tier 2 there to VCT with that roster.
Yes,
there's also even with this roster, right? You've got to consider the fact that some of these players before were playing in contenders almost a year ago. This isn't a team that was built a la, DVM, right? And where they just were like, okay, these are the best talents that we can possibly pick up. Let's make them a group and we're going to succeed, you know? It feels like this roster was scouted very efficiently around a core of existing players where G2 goes and already have a monopoly on a lot of the top talent, I think, when it comes through the ranks. They're always the one that gets first dibs on the hottest names, I think it's fair to say, at least in terms of the business that they want to conduct. So it's been very smartly created on the Gentlemate side, and look, they are being fully rewarded for it here.
Yeah, and just for all you folks at home wondering why do we have to stare at these two guys' faces, it's because we do have a G2 tech pause bug going on. We're currently investigating it to find out what's going on. So, yeah, and I think Haza, just to quickly kind of jump on top of what you were saying there, I think like the best example for me in this roster is Berry X, right? It's a player who everyone had a high appreciation for coming out of 2025. Especially that last split that we had of the year. And I mean, easily, if you were Gentlemates, you could have went and found anybody else who started higher, right? In terms of like that split 3 placements, but instead, no, they went like, right, okay, who has actually got promise and have picked up Berry X and has been well rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a young Gentlemates team compared to G2, right? Even very experienced players for some of them on the G2 side. I mean, Ava, Amy, only 21, Akita still 19, but you look on the Gentlemate side and a player like you mentioned, right, Berry X, she's still only 17, so even if, say, she's the greatest player we've seen in GC and she's ready to go to VCT, she's not even old enough for that at this point in time, do you know what I mean? So, right, it is talking about developing a team over time that is going to do well in the years to come, hopefully. I think the biggest question I ask, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, is sort of if you do have a breakout stage in Game Changers, what does your next stage look like? You know, you're only as good as your previous result in this competition sometimes, and G2 know that well. One of the reasons why we hold them in such high regard is because they have stood that test over the years in reforming a roster that can consistently find results. I believe there is a bit of an update here from production. If I could just get a double check. Yeah, we're getting ready checks, so we should be heading back to game in just a moment, Kyra.
Yeah, we're just about to play on, ready to get back to it and begin to play for the next couple rounds. Remember, it was Gentlemates to win out the pistol round. This is map number 3 and a best of 5 grand final, all of which is in favour of Gentlemates at this moment in time. And there you go, what a stat to go alongside it.
Yeah, it's one of the most played maps, and I think that's also kind of led into them having such success on Split before. Knew what changes they needed to make to see that one work. Here, it's onto a defender's side, which is favoured for them historically as well. On a map which they're yet to lose. They might not lose a map in this grand final if it goes the way it has been. Berry right up the guts, in middle, taking an awkward fight with Amy, but in their sparring match, she comes out on top. With G2 moving as a unit now towards B, it's only Wen's here.
Yeah, and Wen's unfortunately... What?
Oh,
I was about to say, unfortunately, has no way out, but maybe it's G2 who unfortunately had to head to her site. Gentlemates now are here to finish things off with only one player left. That was Vanya. They're one away from double digits.
This is sensational. I mean, G2 in that round, it's really a non-starter. You're all classics across the board. No investment, minimal investment. But Wen's even finding 2 there. This is the kind of performance that you expect from them now, right? Like, this is the rounds that you're getting in this series that have made it such a big gap between the teams. This is the big one though, Cairo. This is maybe the most important round in the series so far. If G2 lose, it's going to be double digits for mates, a chance to kick on to an 11th perhaps. And they're making the proactive move of taking mid control.
Taking away this important part of the map because G2 are looking to fake out the B site, but no one is there to collect. And look at Marty, a rifle in hand, and we know how good she can be, but instead TP's away. The judge nearly caught out Toka trying to escape, but nobody's quick enough to capitalize on that mistake.
It's such a slow re-clear. This G2 default feeling a little bit fragile with how Gentlemates were able to take mid control so quickly. But they have found a way to regroup here now on the attack, and looks like they will be setting up for an A split.
Looking to head
In the meantime, Gentlemate's heading back into A main themselves. They have the perfect read on this.
Yeah, and if they win this fight out, that's the spike gone. TP about to expire for Marty, but wants to commit to this, and with the dart sent forward, Marty still hasn't been cleared. Audible's given away. But look at this, G2, they've got a better read.
Now starting to head towards B, but all of the Cypher utility here.
30 seconds
Gentlemate starting to get a better idea of the bigger picture. Ava can't take herself to the A site now because Spike's already heading elsewhere, and so it is all on the shoulders of Wenz to make something happen in this moment. Guardian in hand, spots out Vanya for half a frame as she flicks back. Amy clears her.
10 seconds
And
left.
now it's a 5 versus 2 for G2. Make that a 5v1. Best odds that they're going to get to find around here in the second half now. I don't think Nami's going to be up to this one.
Nah, I don't think so. And I think the thing that she's thinking about is the ultimates. Because we look at Mimi, she is 3 away from a dimensional drift, and Amy is 2 away from a neural theft. And neural theft can be quite circumstantial in terms of how you use it, but Mimi's dimensional drift will always find value. And it's all about the momentum that this G2 side will probably need the most. It's Amy, in fact, who actually gets the final kill. Flawless. Nami giving that one away. We are within 3, but don't be mistaken, Gentlemates do get to come back in with their bye. That was only the bonus round.
I think at this point, everyone on G2 wants to be on the score sheet, wants to make a difference. No one wants to feel like they're the weak link in what has been a fairly poor performance by all accounts so far. But as a sign of the times, looks like things might be changing in favor of them here because, as you say, they're starting to move closer to a couple of ults. Not going to be any of those in this round where Gentlemates don't have the perfect purchase, but there are rifles, and Marty's already staked her claim at the A main orb.
Fake out already captured, and Mimi now forced back. TP already used. It feels as if that's a win for Gentlemates in terms of the map control gained. But I like this by G2 Hazard. They want to go and re-clear this.
Yeah, Mimi one more TP though, and Berry now without a stun. Looking at the utility that is available, Akita still has all of hers on a site execution, and G2 5 players, or 4 players strong shot, sorry I should say, towards A. Akita will be trying to sell this fake with all of that util.
But it is only her, with only Neon utility held and the steps probably running away. You can start to see now there's plenty of bodies here for Gentlemates. The player's trying to get out, and I mean, easily caught out. The grab well so important, and Berry X even more so. What is going on? Right now, spray a little bit wild, but Wen's even better to it. Gentlemates will find double digits.
And this is just unbelievable. Gentlemates turning that one on its head, had a pretty good idea that G2 weren't fully invested on B, especially behind the Cypher utility. Wenz is there, quick on a rotate, but Berry does the hard work, really rolling her sleeves up and getting stuck in. 3 kills from the Neon. And now, just 3 rounds away from that historic first Game Changers title. This round is everything for G2.
That it is everything.
It's a huge swing round for both.
That it is, truly. Everything but the kitchen sink thrown in from the attack as they have coppers left. And whatever the bank account looks like, it's just not great at all. Not even ultimates, like maybe you can build for Mimi's in the next. That's probably the saving grace you have, and even if you win this at great cost. But for the most part, Gentlemates control A main. And I don't even think Marty's going to get seen here.
I think the barrel did get spotted in the end. It's a contact piece which they had set up. Marty, aware of Eva already from the drone, circles in and finds the kill. Mates with plenty of bodies towards the B site, but yet to win any of those duels. Fully blinded, Akita a little hesitant to take that fight into the hallway, but does end up winning it. It's Berry the Bastion on site though, stunned to set her up for a second. Just the one, and no shocks on Toka, so no follow-up kill.
Last player
Oh,
standing.
great shots from Vanya.
30 seconds
And Marty
left.
now has to try and come back in on 36 HP.
Just doesn't feel winnable at all. G2 have put their best foot forward in a round which meant so much for both of these teams. Whoever comes out on the losing end with way worse finances than when they started. And from G2's perspective, they've managed to do this pretty effectively on their execution as well. Nice little bit of synergy. Set up play between Mimi's flash and Akita, profiting from it.
And with that, G2 get to answer back. A little bit of safety, and yeah, it's the big thing about that was the ultimates, as you were talking about. The fact that Mimi gets Dimensional Drift, Vanya gets Cosmic Divide. So now it starts to get into the ultimate cycle and the value from that. And I know it seems like a kind of trivial thing to talk about, but it'll be very important for how this second half ends up turning out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, as long as G2 win this map, they're really not going to care. I think.
Yes, I think so. You're right. Yeah.
Like, you give yourself the confidence boost of moving on to a fourth map and you take it one step at a time. It's really the only way that you can look at the series right now if you're thinking ahead about, you know, Breeze or even Abyss, God forbid, at the end of this, then
yeah.
You've already lost the battle. And G2, we know they're that good, but for Gentlemates, we haven't seen them in too many of these situations before, so you lose your first opportunity to win the map, then you're on to G2's pick. It can spiral out of control, so I don't hate them taking a first time out here.
I think like that's the big thing. I mean, if you want to talk about looking one round at a time, and I mean, every single time Gentlemates will have the advantage in terms of bringing the coaches in, but Drew gets the same chance to speak to his players as does Existence. So they'll be also talking about what's going right, what needs to keep going right, and what needs to happen next. Gentlemates do not want to give up an opportunity like this, because then you start to ask yourself the question, Hazza, of how many opportunities do we actually let go here? Can we actually win out a map, considering the start that Gentlemates have had on Peril?
Yeah. I mean, if they are able to turn things around, then it's a testament to the quality that they possess, really.
Yeah.
You're looking at it here. This is a chance to narrow that gap a little bit. The economy has sifted that way for them. And again, on these sort of bonus rounds, little eco rounds, Gentlemates just offering a completely different look, sending 4 players up middle, 5 at the start of the round. Marty already stationed at B. Only issue is there's nobody on A, and that's exactly where G2 are headed.
Yeah, with the spike at the back. I mean, there's been a fake out used on the B site, which is very quickly identified, and you can see that on the map how quickly Gentlemates want to try and respond to this. But G2 are already here, and a dimensional drift used to make sure that there's no secret that Gentlemates have up their sleeve.
The fake out and the fake turns to goop before mates even get half a swing at it, so see how much more solid the sight hold is. Not really very much. G2 just cutting through mates like their paper here with this purchase. Marty has the rifle, and you give it a roll of the dice, but you can already see Eva on the back line ready to close the net.
Yeah, very true. I mean, Marty's rifle, yeah, I think this is going to be all but G2 right now. That's what we're expecting, with a couple of kills from Mimi. And right now, this is confidence frags, eco frags that G2 really need. And it's a flawless round in the end. But you were talking about like knives through butter and whatever, Hazza. That's like trying to use a sledgehammer to butter your bread, you know? There was a lot of ultimates put in there, a lot of investment from G2, and of course they're going to come out on top. But is that key pieces that could have been used in future rounds, like this one, where Gentlemates have 4 ultis?
Yeah, that they do. And I think that's got to be what a lot of the timeout was maybe focused on, not just the mental aspect, but the tools that they have at their disposal now. Not sledgehammers, but flamethrowers, whatever you want to say. The best for the job. And if it's buttering bread, then sure, it can be a butter knife.
Right here.
Odin for Toka as well. I know it's good for a spam through connector, but remains to be seen what her part to play is in this, as Marty's op was hunting for the jump spot of Akita, not able to take the one opportunity she was given.
And now the importance, I would say, is put on Berry X and their position in AMA, and as the spike slowly makes its way from the B side to the A side, and Marty even going to use the dimensional drift to clear out this side of the map. So now we look at Berry X, position deep in main.
Ooh, actually Marty does manage to spot Akita, but that's literally it. So this has made the A defense a whole lot thinner. It's only Nami here. First few bullets just whistle past the G2 players, nothing taken from it. Akita wins the fight in transition on Wenz, and it's all falling apart for mates on this round. G2 look to be moving the needle here again, and to his Toka stunned, Akita has the next. Marty forced to save the op. And it is just one round between the teams now.
Yeah, now things are starting to change. This is the first time that I've seen a round where I sit and watch it, Hazza, and I'm surprised. Because it looked as if Gentlemates didn't even get a look into some of these fights. G2, backs against the walls, are ready to fight and brawl. The two Euro players just missing out on each other, but the op being kept is probably more important, and Mimi will probably play due diligence to clear out Heaven, and does get confirmation.
Big target on her back now, but I think Marty should be in a decent position to outlast this. Nice shot from Vanya, already so wide on the angle, the pole wasn't prepared for it, and so it is a one-round game, like I said, Cairo. I think, yeah, those ults and the swing in economy is going to be a huge part to play in the end of this, but more than anything, this is a confident G2 now. It's from those eco frags, it's from those small wins that they've now put themselves in a position of power.
And not just power in terms of the fact that they've got momentum, it's power in the fact they've got the better buy, more specifically here. As you've said many a time, when we've got to these eco rounds, is that Gentlemates always shows a different look, and rather than going through mid, it looks as if they look to challenge B long.
Yeah, maybe with a flash out of this smoke from Marty as well. She is going to drop it, but Akita already 10 paces back, doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot barge pole. Just poking and prodding. Knows that mates can't find the jump over her too easily here, and actually catches Toka as the smoke was fading. Should I say blooming up in her face. So, ooh. Wenz does take one on A, but the rifle can't be recovered just yet, and G2 are in for the kill here.
They should be looking to dive on Wenz position. You can see already the utility looking to be sent, but this is not as clear cut. Wenz is able to show us the goods on the Sheriff before.
Yeah, it's a nifty reposition using the cage. Actually means that she can double up with the support of Nami here. In the meantime, Berry has to kind of drop off and invite that pressure from G2. Is there a miracle to be had on round 20? Or is an equalizer looking like the more likely of the outcomes? You would think so. Wenz does find one, keeps it grinding down to a 2 versus 3. Berry cornered and should be flat out killed here. Still on borrowed time, but Nami picks up another, and still there's sort of signs of life here. Gentlemate's still breathing. The plant is so far pitted against Nami, though, it just doesn't feel winnable at this point in time. In saying that, she gets a tap off, but that is all. G2 level things out.
They do. Mimi getting back to a dimensional drift, but it feels like G2 use all their ultimates when it comes to these equal rounds. And I mean, it's got them to double digits, that's fair enough. Sometimes you just gotta send it in when you think you're gonna get value. And G2 definitely did. So with that being said, after 3 rounds ago where Gentlemates used their first timeout, we're gonna get the second round. Second one.
Yeah, look, we've got some huge rounds coming up. If Gentlemates can win 3 rounds, it'll be the biggest 3 rounds of their stage so far. 3 for the 3-0. G2 needing 3 maps consecutive to turn this one around. But yeah, it's situations like this that really eat away at you at the end of the day if you're laying in your bed off the back of being reversed swept, thinking sort of, how did we let it get that far? With the opportunities that Genomates had, and with the ults that they currently sit on, Cairo, this purchase, they'll get at least 2 more buys before the map is done.
I mean, that is the question, right? Like, the fact that you get 2 more buys, like, is good, but a question of, like, how did we let it get this far? How do we come back into this one? Can't let yourself ask questions when you've got a round to play. And as you said, it's 1 round at a time. And this next one, most important, Gentlemates have everything they need. They've stockpiled ultimates. But G2 showed respect. Nothing being thrown their way.
No. Just weighing up the best way to take this A main control. It's the A site which we've seen G2 take far and away more than the B. And I think with Marty roaming around with this op now, it's something that's got to be on the back of your mind at all times. Akita, 21 and 15. She's really stepped up since we put the focus on her in this best of 5, but that has to continue in these final few rounds. CG2 are setting up for another A split. Question is, with Akita floating around in middle, do they maybe want to backtrack on this a little bit?
Seems if it is all steam ahead towards the A side at least. There is obviously the kill trip that's been set up, but G2 playing around with the timings and the pacings of the execute, finally begin to bring out the audibles, finally the trap goes, and Gentlemates fully respect this.
Yeah, it looked like they were just waiting for Mimi to get here, so they had the flash to send it through, but there is the Hunter's Fury. Berry getting out, but caught with at least 1 tag. Eva finds Wenz's collateral in the meantime, and it makes for a 4 versus 4. Gentlemates still changing of the guard here as they can get the bodies over to help support this retake attempt. Akita already highlighted up close, and Mimi has a corner to check as the recon flies in over her head. Gentlemates are here, arriving on the scene, and as Nami just battles back through, the bullets bounce from her chest. Gentlemates looking untouchable there as a unit, again standing firm.
Yeah, it's getting to that point where Gentlemates throw everything at G2. And I mean, it's not the value of the ultimate, it's the value of the team play, of how they play off one another. An operator back in Marty's hands, and only, I guess, like an ultimate between either side. This is where we end up at. It's going to be a duel to the death once these 2 ultimates are done.
G2 had no problem getting access to the site, but it's towards the post plant where Gentlemates then decided to make a cohesive response. Same opening from G2 here, a little bit quicker this time, but there's nothing behind it.
But it felt as if that was what it was engineered by Gentlemates in terms of the fact that they let G2 get the site so easily. Marty's operator identified the camera, so now they're respecting that and dropping off.
Who's next?
Yeah, Marty is walking up here, towing the line with the operator. Has to TP out. Berry still floating around here in the proximity. Doesn't want to overextend. Discipline shown. Year of changes. Playing well above those years against an experienced G2 side, which have to hold on here and do so. Akita and Mimi lining the double duelist again, but has managed to let mates in the back lines here. And through always, they light it up red. Wen's finding yet another kill, makes it a 2-on-2 situation. Both players highlighted towards long. No cage, no smoke, no way to cover the spike here. It's got to be an out-and-out brawl. Amy on low HP, a very wide peek from Wen's. Puts Mimi in a clutch situation of which she is so capable. Full HP, 150 points to her name, and absolutely no chance she was going to let that one slip.
Yeah, G2 managing to fight their way through, but it gets a little bit worrying. I think that's the way these rounds are going to go. I really like the wide swing from Wens to pull the crosshair away from Marty, but And that 1 versus 1, it is Mimi who does come out on top. The experience matters. So at 11-11, Cosmic Divide comes up. And is that the needle that could perhaps push G2 through and towards map point?
And there's only one rifle here on the mate's side, and it's Berries. Marty has found the preliminary orb of this round. Again, not been too much of an issue for the defenders to take control of A main when left open. And on the mid-fight here, it's a little bit of a gap in the timing. Nice bait from Toka, and there will be a trade indirectly through Berry. But it's got to be Wens again.
You know what this Sheriff can be like, but bites at the first target, and unfortunately G2 looking more like themselves. This is the showing that I like to see. The grand final that was expected in terms of the back and forth. But so far, G2 are the team who will get first opportunity at winning this map out.
Yeah, the first time that we've seen them reach 12 rounds so far in this series. Back and forth to start off Haven, but Gentlemates, once they found their footing, there was nothing stopping them there, and the momentum carried onwards into Split. This, the next pick of theirs in the Veto, to which they held a double ban advantage. And I have to say, moving on to Breeze next, things could certainly look a lot better for G2 in about an hour's time, but we'll have to see if they can make it through the next minute and a half. Otherwise, it's onto an extension of play, and with the spike dropped in spawn, it looks like they are willing to play the clock here.
Yeah. Peril does go G2's way. The next map of Breeze will be a welcomed return. A map which they are have a pretty decent record on. We can come back to that in a minute. As G2 begin to make their advance through mid. Spike not committed anywhere, but this dimensional drift does open things up and gain information for Gentlemates. One which Nami capitalises off the back of. A big pick.
It's a huge one to start things off. And G2 starting to realise the gravity of the situation, have a decision to make. Spike heading towards A, but Mimi left behind to try and fake out B solo. The call from the captain to create a bit of a distraction here, and mates are still a little indecisive about where they want to end up.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, and it seems as if with just committing Berry X on the A side, this could be a massive loss here in the Neon trying to rotate in. The Cosmic Divide of their own being committed. Mimi trying to be awkward, but it's Toka with a spam that catches Mimi off guard. So two players to the good are the defense.
5 versus 3 retake. Best opportunity mates will have in this one. And there is little left on the G2 side to stop this from being set in motion.
Players coming straight back through. You can hear the footsteps, and the crossfire has been established, but the smoke actually stops it. Gentlemates look for a flawless round to respond. They'll get it, and Hazza, we're going to overtime.
It's nothing less than this map deserves. Both teams have really given it their all, but Gentlemates just aren't willing to let this one slip just yet. One thing I will say, the longer this map goes, if G2 are able to find a way to win it, then that does really beat down on the spirits of Gentlemates, right? As we said, they're fairly new to these kinds of situations. They've played a few grand finals in the past, but don't have any history winning them except for Wens. So you really just got to take it one step at a time. And well, back on the attack, it is a great opportunity for them to take an advantage here.
Both teams playing the same comp, both teams with the same record so far on Peril. This map, this play goes to a 2-round shootout, and G2 start the attack with 3 players towards the A side. But in terms of what's actually been seen, mates have really seen or heard nothing. So they begin to try and get, I guess, Cypher traps away from the B space.
Yeah, But the thing is, though, the fake out only highlights it, doesn't break it. And with Gentlemates already so far gone towards A now, through middle, that continues to persist. Rotation called by Akita. And the furthest player forward here for G2 is Vanya. But ever the one looking likely to take first contact. Or so you'd think. She just peels away from Connector, and Gentlemates are getting closer and closer to the site here, and G2 have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is just allowing the information for Gentlemates to just start this execute. Vanya goes searching and unfortunately has found Nami. So at this moment in time, the attack have an advantage and a spike down.
Oh, Wenz is getting the timing here in mid as well, so Mimi drops and that's it. Another 5 versus 3, this time to take the lead and take series point.
Berry trying to dance around the site, stop G2 knowing exactly her position. Cleared down by Akita, but the spike diffuser has been denied. Toka and Marty will get the round for Gentlemates and give themselves the first advantage in overtime.
Yes, and while it took a round extra for Gentlemates to reach 13, they have done so here.
One enemy remaining.
And become the first in OT to find the lead, setting up now for what would be an incredible win, not just for them, but for the organization and the thousands, tens of thousands of fans that continue to descend upon co-streams to help support this new squad on the precipice of being the first new club in Game Changers EMEA to win a title in their debut stage in the last 5 years. And what an achievement it would be.
It just shows you how well run things can be. You put the right people in charge. G2 goes searching into the lines of Gentlemates, and that's been easily denied. Akita found out as well. Information starting to flood into the Gentlemates comms. And they're responding in kind. Spike's still not here though, has it?
Yeah, and for G2 this round, just you can feel it slipping away, that first pick, and now Gentlemates ready. The roll call of the roster arriving at the site, ready for a retake of which have been so successful so far for them.
It looks as if it can continue to be as Gentlemates do come straight back in, keeping that advantage working for them. Spike lost and Ava to clutch up a 1 versus 5. Gets the first couple, a good attempt, but how many bullets are left in the chamber? Just 13, and that's not enough. The last few years might have been G2's, but 2026 looks to be Gentlemates as they win this first split of 2026.
And so the new roster has replicated another success story for Mates. From SBG to VCT, now it's from just a dream to the Queens of GC EMEA. A huge result for them and everyone else involved. And not just that, but a clean sweep 3-0, Cairo. You really cannot fault the performance that we've seen from them today.
Yeah, you can, and that's the thing. Like, this is an undisputed best-of-5 grand final where it has been a 3-0 on some of G2's best maps. And you've got to think, right? Sure, Gentlemates were undefeated 6-0, but G2 had never lost this map either, and it just goes to show exactly the preparation Gentlemates had coming into this best-of-5 grand final.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at the rest of that Veto, and I think maybe it could have got a little bit shaky for Gentlemates, but fortunately, they don't have to think about that reality because it's not one that we're living in. They've closed the deal. Toka, Marty, Nami, and now Berry X as well, all taking their first ever Game Changers EMEA title, joining Wenz, who now has her second after her own result with BBL Queens a few years ago. Toka and Marty in the grand final last year, as I said earlier, loving life in pink here as they have moved to a new team with some familiar faces that has delivered on all fronts. And while G2 weren't at the level we expect from them, I think you have to mention, call a spade. Today was not their best performance at all.
No.
What Gentlemates did show us was an incredibly high level of team play.
It did, but I think that the kind of, I guess the copium take, I don't want to call it copium, but the saving grace for G2 is this is the first split of the year. It's been pretty grueling. I mean, the group stage was literally a game every single day. This playoff stage can feel like that as well. So for me, I think that G2 will have lessons learned from that, and that's how they'll move throughout the year, because at the end of the day, the season isn't won in the first split, it's won in Game Changers Championship, and that's where all eyes will be on.
Yeah, I mean, this team has so many different unique backgrounds. There's a lot of regional pride here as well. Marty, the first Polish player to win Game Changers EMEA. Nami, the first Algerian Tunisian. Existence and IDEX as coaches, both Belgian. First title for them. And yeah, I have to say, like, look, just all across the board, this is a story that just gets you really excited for the future of this region as well. We had so many conversations had about what the overall level looks like, but when you actually consider it, not only have we still seen a continuation of other teams in the region, like KC and G2, of course, now we have Gentlemates as well with a title to their name.
Yeah, and with a title to their name, the question is, what does the rest of the year look like, right? Split 2 gets even more spicier. Can G2 come back and win it? Will Gentlemates continue the reign that has just started, right? And there's so many challenges as well as we look towards the GCC and how that can develop. So all these storylines just begin to develop after this first split, and it's one that I'm so excited for.
If you're still tuned in here and you want to hear from the players, we are going to have an interview in just a little bit. But of course, as you know, the celebrations have already started, and I imagine them to continue into the rest of the evening as well. We can, in the meantime, show you a quick update on the points distribution with this result in mind, where Gentlemates are currently sat under bracket 2, of course. So looking at it as it currently is, with stage 1 now concluded, Gentlemates up on 60 points, G2 45, and the rest is the rest, Cairo.
Yeah, the margin's very small for split 1, or for stage 1, apologies. Stage 2 and stage 3 things get even more exciting, as we've already spoken about, and I imagine Gozen probably looking for the revenge as many of the other teams who have been felled by Gentlemates as we look towards that bracket, and you can see exactly the run that Gentlemates took to the grand final.
Yeah, you can. I think it's important as well for us to quickly contextualize sort of that points distribution too, and how much that can actually mean, because last year, for example, the lowest placing amount of points that ended up progressing you to GCC was 170. That was a gap of about 70 points from GX to Twisted Minds in the end. And what, with 60 points already here, I think you've got to mention, right, that could be the difference between you having enough points at the end of the year and you actually missing out, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think the thing that makes this one even more sweeter as well, not just the 60 points and the extra points that you get from this stage 1, but it's also the fact that you've beat our two last grand finalists, the last two grand finalist winners, sorry, in KC and G2 on your route here, and I think that just shows you the quality in which we've seen from Gentlemates.
It's one which really establishes them as a force within the region, and a force to be reckoned with at that, because look, a lot of these players have a prolonged history in Game Changers EMEA, whether it's rising through the ranks in contenders, following that same dream that so many people tend to do here in EMEA, or whether it is just being in the main event but never quite hitting the heights of a grand final or a grand final win. We've finally seen it happen. For me, I think the standout player probably has to be X, because she is the newest to this entire environment, and I think one that has made a hell of a difference overall in changing some of these players from being ones that were so close to doing it to actually getting the win that has sort of changed their careers, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think it definitely will look to have changed the trajectory, whatever way you look at it. There is now a little bit of pedigree, the fact that you've won your first stage, the fact that you've got yourselves into a position where, hey, if you go for a trial, that's Berry X that won stage 1 of 2026, and one that will always be an accolade that will buy yourself into the future. Not that they'll need it, Hazza, considering how this is only the start of the year. I'm not just talking about the future.
Yeah, look, and I think it's important that you mention the future here as well, and this will obviously get brought up in our interview, which is much closer to what it was. I believe the players should be connecting, so we'll be with them in just a moment. Is look, can you repeat that success? Because it's all well and good going ahead and winning the first stage, but as you saw from the points distribution, the prize pot just gets bigger and bigger. The stakes only increase, and I think now with the introduction of a third stage play-ins for playoffs as well, with some of the teams that we're going to be seeing in cash cups, who knows? Maybe there is another dark horse that wants to go on a run late, and you know, you're not guaranteed to be out on the plane to wherever GCC ends up until you have that secured. So yeah, like we said, a team like G2 has their dynasty. You know, these come and go sometimes, but there is never a guarantee that you will be there come the end of the year. So very excited to see where this roster can go.
Yeah, and that's the I guess the question we'll all be asking ourselves, right? What happens next and for Gentlemates? Because you've got to do it all over again. You've got to prove that this wasn't a one-split wonder. And I think that they do have the quality to do that, right? For instance, if you think about it this way, a natural progression from what was the core that we saw in that grand final from Twisted Minds and Marty and Toka, you know, like that shows the quality and the kind of progress that they made as individuals. Because certainly for me, there was highlights from that split 3 grand final, but getting your revenge in the first stage of 2026 is something to behold.
I mean, also for them to win that final map. I mean, it went to overtime. They had to push it to overtime. G2 got the first map point on Pearl, and they were able to flip it on its head. I mean, I don't think people realize how resilient mentally you have to be to endure something like that, because especially when you get in this situation when maybe you've been in a grand final many times before, you've not quite been able to win it, it's kept passing you by, to then actually be there and be present in that moment and say, actually, we are in control of this, we are the masters of our own destiny, is great to see. So yeah, we are of course still just waiting for the players, but I'm not going to stop them from having a good time. Right?
What do you
because
expect?
how many GC EMEA titles have you won? How many titles have you won in general, Kyra? You know, how many have I won? None.
That's the question. That is the question. None. We've never won any in Valorant. I've watched other people win titles, I guess, many a time, Saza. But I guess that's the position that we find ourselves in as commentators. But it's been a pleasure to see this grand final and the way that played out. Maybe you know, I think like with the way that map 3 went, maybe a bit more of that in the future. I think this is going to be a long storied kind of matchup between these two teams, as G2 for the most part have always been good at group stages, and they've shown that they've got quality, shown that they can beat Gentlemates, and they'll be wanting to prove it once again as we get through the year.
Yeah, I'm glad that we bring up G2 there as well, because you know this gives us a moment to talk about them as well. I think sometimes they've been quick to make sort of like a knee-jerk change in terms of what the lineup looks like, but this set of 5 I feel very confident in getting the results. I mean, I even did with Petra at GCC, but they only know best what's gonna, you know, drive them forwards to achieve the levels and the very high bar that the organization sets for itself. I think too is like the point that you raised, how pretty much over the years G2 have remained the same, whereas it has been other more fleeting runs from other teams like KC in previous years, even GX as well last year. They are still kind of the dominant force in that sense, that we know they're consistent, right? Like you expect them to come back top 3 no problem, whereas if Gentlemates were to maybe suddenly drop off, it wouldn't come as big of a shock, just because you don't have that consistent track record. This is only their first stage, and sure, it's you know, amazing they've been able to do it, but can they do it again?
That is the question. But I tell you what we can do, Hazza. We can throw it straight to this interview and get into it, because I mean, Hazza, there's many questions that both of us have.
There absolutely is. On the line, it's not just Existence who's joined the Discord, it is everyone on the Gentlemates team. Hello, Marty. How are you doing? First of all, just immediate thoughts. How does it feel to be a Game Changers EMEA champion?
I mean, I would say it feels amazing. I'm really happy at what we did, like as a team. We showed our work, what we were working on like for the past months. So yeah, we are really happy to be here, and we are really happy to win it.
How does it feel to have revenge against G2 Gozen as well, an opponent that you're more than familiar with, but I mean, in a grand final in your first stage of 2026?
No idea what is. I don't know what to say. Like it feels amazing, and especially because I lost last time against them on grand final, so it's my revenge with Tokamete. So yeah, it feels really good. Yes, it's Tokamete.
You started the series fantastically. I mean, the whole series was great. You won 3-0. How did you feel, at least with the confidence of your preparation coming in? Because it did feel like you had a really good read on what G2 wanted to do.
To be honest, like I don't know what to say about it, but we just felt confidence since the beginning. Like we rest well, we worked well, and like you all could see it on the server. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll leave it to you, Marty. Is there anything you want to say to the fans winning your first split of 2026?
Guys, thank you so much for the support. Ale vas-y, gentlemen!
Very nice, very nice. The celebrations will continue for a long time, I'm sure. So, yeah, congratulations, everyone, on the win. And yes, once again, merci for the interview, and hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Merci also. Thank you so much, guys. They just got...
Okay, there you go. Right, it was a pretty quick interview on the whole, but I would say, Cairo, yeah, these guys perfectly set up, came in today, looked unbeatable, to be honest, and just played a great game of Valorant.
Yeah, they did. I think like throughout this whole throughout this whole best three, they showed what they were good at. You showed the preparation that they had coming in, and you know what? Against an opponent like G2 Gozen, who had their own prep done, I think it just goes to show what just kind of shows exactly what they can do on the server.
There were plenty of highlights from today's action, so of course we do have the Razor end of day highlights for you all. Thank you so much for watching, and once again, congratulations to Gentlemates, your new Game Changers EMEA Stage 1 champions.
One enemy remaining. Last.
Neutralized. Lights up.
Go, go, go. My ult's ready.
And they are trying to spam through smoke wins already. Doing so well. Not clearing this corner feels absolutely criminal. As Gentlemates once again come away with 2 kills.
One enemy remaining.
Coming in, should be calling to the rest of her team that she's got it under control, and that's exactly it. And then they double dip. Oh my god, Berry and Nami combining.
Good attempt, but how many bullets are left in the chamber? Just 13, and that's not enough.
Sleep, I dance in the realm of dreams. I dance when I'm in the boneyard. Dance when I'm caught off guard. I dance. I got a feeling I can't shake, but I'ma try to shake it anyway. I got a move that I can't break, but I'ma break that thing anyway. gonna tell you twice. We're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat. We're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice. We're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat. Whoa. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance. Feet on the ceiling, feeling great. Don't tell your mama we shake and bake. Break the rules and do your thing. Bring your shoes, yeah, bring your date. Not gonna tell you twice. We're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat. We're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice. We're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, yeah. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance.
You've been told, but it's time to come alive. If you want to party, babe, you got to feel it deep inside. All I really want to do is the things you just can't hide. Put your funk around it, babe, and I'll take